Hello and a very warm welcome to this very special summit, which is made in play. But before we begin, I want all of you to give a huge round of applause to each one of you, to our kids, and of course to Play. That beautiful film we just watched was made under the aegis of Bachpan Manao, a campaign by EkStep in partnership with NDTV. As an initiative, we spend all our time on early childhood development because we firmly believe that Bachpan is great. And what does this eight really represent? The eight wonders of childhood that bring joy, learning, and growth to children, social bonding, all-round skills, education, creativity, stories, nature, quiet time. And at the heart of it all, the one thing that brings all these wonders of Bachpan is great to life, and that is play. And that is exactly why we were all here today. So now let me introduce myself properly. As I can see, all of you have. I'm Arun, very shy and introverted at 8 years of age. I know you won't believe looking at me, but that's what I was at the age of 8, but also a performer. My favorite play memory is playing Kho-Kho with my cousins on family outings, and the friends I enjoyed playing with most are Akshay, Sanjay, and another one who changed his school quite early on, so I only remember him as Bablu. I don't even know his real name. But I hope all of you took some time to answer these questions. You have some response sheets as well. Even I've got a few response sheets here, and I'm going to read out those answers. The question we asked was, what were you like as an 8-year-old? And this person has written, dreamer. That's a great answer. I'm coming to you also, by the way, for the answers. Then our second question was, what is your favorite childhood memory of play? And I'm going to read this beautiful answer. Climbing the wall to go to my best friend Ratna's house, leaving her secret messages in the magic mystery box that we hid behind the sweet pea creeper. That's a lovely answer. I'm going to come to you guys, anybody, even if you've not filled it. What were you like as an 8-year-old? Can I get a mic as well here? See, it's all about conversation. You know, it's not that you've come here to attend a speech or a workshop. It's a conversation, so all of us will talk. What were you like as an 8-year-old?
This is why I was dreading sitting on the first seat.
Were you a first bencher?
Not at all. I was always the backbencher.
So you've been forced to sit here?
Yes.
Lovely. But what were you like as an 8-year-old?
I started playing basketball. So I just remember playing basketball and having that, because I was not good in studies. So yeah, that's what I remember. Just
So
playing
basketball
basketball,
player.
going to school to play basketball in the morning, and being just one of the girl in the team. So that's what.
And
yeah.
when was the last time you played basketball?
I played my senior nationals, I think some 6-7 years back. Yeah.
Not bad, not bad.
Yeah, I
So you're
think
keeping
so.
that spirit alive.
Yes, I'm trying to.
Lovely, since you are a professional as well. So love that spirit and attitude. Sir, may I know your name, please?
My name is Kabir.
Do you mind asking me your age?
Well, it's 58.
Lovely, sir. You don't look 58, sir.
Ah, really?
Not a day older
Thank
than
you.
28, sir. we're peers, we're same age. But yeah, give it up, guys. Don't shy from clapping, right? We're here to encourage each other. Sir, what were you like as an 8-year-old?
Very shy, quiet.
High five, sir. Shy, quiet.
Yeah, and would not mix with people around, but I had some very good friends. And so I would listen to them, but I won't, kind of open out to them.
What is your favorite childhood memory?
I'm going to share that in a while here.
He's keeping it a secret. That's lovely. Ma'am, may I come to you and ask you what is your favorite childhood memory? And before that, if I can have your name.
Hi, my name is Meeta. My favorite childhood memory was just being out of the house all the time with my friends, cycling, climbing trees, hiding in different spaces, and just being naughty.
Lovely. And also enjoying pollution-free environment. That's a luxury that we used to have. Sir, may I come to you? What's your name?
Vivek.
Vivek, what is your fondest childhood memory?
Actually, I grew up in Lucknow, and we used to play cricket all day long and get scolded at home in the evening. So I think that's my best memory. And I don't think I have played cricket in last 6 years or so.
And what about like when let's say your friends were in indoors, what were you doing? What was the team bonding exercise, so to say?
Actually, my parents were chill, but we don't had like personal phones, so we don't had that. We used to play carom and all. So
Lovely, thank you very much. So see, why I wanted to ask these questions is that we wanted to prove that, play doesn't need a huge amount to come alive. Our Made in Play Summit is dedicated to the idea that childhood itself is made in play. The science is clear. Play is the primary soil in which that growth really takes place. Think about it. Each one of us here today has been made in play. But today, more than ever, our children need time, space, and freedom to play and learn through play. So the big question we want to answer today is simple. What will it take to make play non-negotiable, and how do we give childhood back to our children? This summit is for you, the caring adult. We don't want to just stand up here and talk at you. We want to talk with you. So we hope you have explored the displays and the games around you, interact, ask questions, and participate in the conversations through this morning. Take it all in. To help us set the context for the day, let's look at the big picture of why this matters so deeply. Please welcome to the screen Rohini Nilekani.
Namaste, everyone. Thank you so much for being with us for Made in Play. We are here because we all need to understand something really important for our country. There is a gap that we actually need to name, and that is about children. You know, every child arrives wired for curiosity, for wonder, and for play. That is not just sentiment. This is biology. The crisis is not that children don't know how to play. It is that we adults have somehow forgotten how to let them play. And we've forgotten to play ourselves too. Maybe that's why. This is science, and the science is not optional, because 85% of brain development happens by age 6, not 16, 6, when children are that high. And you know, what looks like random or unstructured play to an adult is actually, in fact, the brain doing its work. The brain doing its most important work. Play, khelna, builds executive function. It builds focus. It builds self-control. It allows them to learn problem solving, empathy, working with other people. They are not just soft skills. They are hard survival skills for the age that is coming for the young children of India. And you know, the great thing about this is that play, it's not about curated sort of kits and structured programs or anything of the sort. It requires but 3 things, and that is time, that is space, and I hope it is safe space, and permission. Time, space, permission. And you know, permission may be the hardest one, because we adults have to again learn how to let go. We have to learn to trust, to give children the time, the freedom to make mistakes, to imagine. We need to give them freedom from a pressure to perform. We have to unlearn. And adults also need the freedom to give permission, to release their anxiety, and to trust the child. We all worry so much, but we all know, worry is like a rocking chair. There's a lot of movement, but it doesn't take you anywhere. I think when adults approach childhood with curiosity themselves, with wonder themselves, then play, fun play becomes really possible. An adult who is capable of being surprised, of feeling wonder and awe, that is the adult who can truly enable a child to play and to keep learning. Can we redefine the metrics by which we measure our children? So, should we be looking for curiosity, for creativity, for social emotional skills, for team play, and generally for more holistic development? This is not a very simple as it sounds, because government policies also need to keep pace. We need better government policies to protect playtime, because actually learning and play might be the same thing, and we really need to understand that now. Because we say that childhood itself is the greatest teacher. The strength and the learning capacity, the learning to learn that play gives children cannot be bought. And you know, I think this is extraordinarily important right now. In this time of so much uncertainty about the anxiety about the future of work, I think play becomes so important because it builds resilience. We are raising children for a world that we cannot fully predict, prescribe or describe. And I really believe that play is so important because it allows children to learn to tolerate ambiguity. That is a skill which they are going to need. The ability to recover quickly from failure, from disappointment, from uncertainty, for things they were not prepared for. Surprisingly, there is more than enough research to tell you that that's exactly what play teaches children to do. Because resilience can't be built by pressure. Resilience comes when you are exposed to things calmly and you learn to build your skills slowly without pressure, so that you can remember when the time comes how to respond, how to react to things that are beyond something that you can imagine right now. How do you fail safely? How do you repeatedly and joyfully keep trying something till you get better at it? That's what play allows children to do. That's what we are saying is a very serious thing that India and India's parents and caregivers need to look at. If we want children who can navigate this very uncertain world, then we are going to have to understand that we have to protect the one thing that prepares them for it, and that is play. ये तो नींव है, विकसित भारत की नींव है कि हमारे बच्चे पढ़ना सीखे और खेलने के लिए उन्हें हम permission दें. It's a very foundational skill if we want Bharat, India to succeed and to have a generation of human beings as they grow up to be better citizens, to be the best they can be, to be fearless, to be resilient. India's ambitions for 2047 of course rest so much on the quality of our people, on what the markets may call human capital. But that, if we think about it, begins right now, begins for people at birth. Play is not at all a detour from the development agenda, which is so important for our country. But in fact, play might well be the starting point for the development agenda for the citizens of the future. And so for all the adults in this room, play is not just child's work. Play is maybe our language of care. When we protect a child's right to play, we are saying that we see you, we trust you, we believe in you, and you know what? We are investing in you with love and with care. That is the deepest form of care, I think, that a society can offer to its youngest citizens. And this is all our responsibility. And what a joyful responsibility it is, isn't it? It is a Samaj responsibility, not just parents. Parents can't take the whole load because play cannot just be left to individual families to figure out. Of course, in their homes they can create that space, but we need public, safe spaces for children to be able to play freely. So it requires community, it requires good policy, it needs institutions, and we need ecosystems working together on this. That's why this summit is so important, to get that whole movement in India going, to move this idea into action. And so here's what everybody in this room can do. Can we give a child around us unstructured time, without goals, without screens? Can we wait and watch and see what happens after that? And can you audit any one system that you are part of? Ask where play lives in its design, not as a break, but as a core input. How can all of us take play seriously? And so don't leave this room just as a spectator. Become a playfluencer. That's a new word the team has coined. Playfluencer. Can you be one? Can you be a trustee for children's play? Can your institutions, your voice, your family, your trust, your ability to be in various social circles, can you use that to enable play for all the children of India? Bachpan Manao, देखेंगे उसके बाद क्या सफलता मिलेगी. I feel full trust that this is an important national agenda. Let's play, let's let children play. Dhanyavad or namaskar.
That was a lovely message. Give it up for Miss Nilekani. Since this is called Made in Play, I'm going to move ahead. But before that, I'm going to give this a try. Okay, I thought it was going to be easy. Give me a cheer, guys, if you think I'm putting up a good effort. Thank you. That's what I wanted to do it for your cheers and claps. Now, why do I like to play? It sounds like such a simple question, right? But the answers are profound. To find out what our children think, 22 organizations went out and spoke to over 4,000 children across the country, not just from Bangalore and Delhi, but from Bhavnagar in Gujarat to Sonpur in Odisha and Geetnagar in Guwahati to Sukma in Chhattisgarh. What we got was a joyful window into the world of play told by children themselves, incredibly honest, raw, funny, and profound. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is Voices of Play, India's first national play manifesto by children, of children, and for every caring adult. You all have a copy in your bags. Before we open it up, let's take a look at what the children had to say.
Children are the foremost experts on play. We rarely ask them. Last year, 22 organizations across 10 states did. They went into Anganwadis, preschools, schools, and community spaces and asked 4,000 children one question. What does play mean to you? The answers came in drawings, poems, songs, neighborhood maps, and dialects that resisted easy translation. Children named games that carried entire worlds inside them. Ghor Ghor, Chikut Kut, Vishamrit. Here's a glimpse in their own words.
Even if I am sad, I come to the playground. I leave happy.
24 घंटे के लिए खेलने बोलो तो खेल सकते हैं, बस कहना चाहिए.
I love playing outside with cats, dogs, and birds. It's like the playground knows how to help. ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ಆಟಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಇಷ್ಟ. I want to play with my friends all day in a huge field. If I am stopped from playing, I don't feel like doing anything else. ನನಗೆ ಶಾಲೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಇಷ್ಟವಾದ ಸ್ಥಳ ಆಟದ ಮೈದಾನ.
மேத்ஸ் டீச்சர்ஸ்லாம் பிடி பீரியட் எடுத்துக்கிறாங்க. எங்களுக்கு விளையாட டைமே இல்லை.
Play is important because you can get vitamin D. हमें यहाँ एक खेल का मैदान चाहिए. धरती बढ़िया रहनी चाहिए, उसमें कोई खड्डा खुड्डा नहीं होना चाहिए.
हमारे हिसाब से लगता है कि कुछ खेल ऐसे भी होने चाहिए कि लड़का और लड़की दोनों खेल सकें, और जो चीज़ लड़कियों को आती है वो चीज़ लड़की को भी आनी चाहिए, और ये सब समाज में आम बात लगनी चाहिए.
Children have always known this. Now we do too. The question is what we do with it. Talk to a child, host a conversation, share this book, or simply the next time a child asks you to play, say yes.
Here it is, ladies and gentlemen, Voices of Play, a celebration of play by children, their words, their memories, and their own drawings too. I want to ask all of you right now to do something, and that is open this lovely book, flip through, and find something written by a child that strikes you. You know what time it is, right? I'm going to come to you and interact, since this is not a workshop or a speech. by yours truly. So I'm going to come to you and maybe, flip through and tell me what is something that you really connected with. Ma'am, if I may come to you, if I may start with you, anything that touched your heart?
I think the visuals, the font, that is
Yeah.
what I've seen so far, and yeah, it takes me back to those good old days.
Looks like somebody has scribbled it, somebody
Yeah,
has,
I feel like
played with it.
Yes, I feel like I'm in kindergarten again. Thank you for that experience.
Lovely. Give it up for her, please, guys. Sir, what about you? What's your name?
My name is Zed.
And what is in this book that really, struck
The
that
very
chord for you?
first thing I read is, even if I'm sad when I come to the playground, I leave happy. There's something which
Yeah.
also made me happy when I'm with my friends at the ground.
Yes.
And
And when
this-
was the last time you went to a playground to actually play?
So I feel at 34, I'm also a kid still. तो हम अपने दोस्तों के साथ हर सैटरडे क्रिकेट एटलीस्ट खेलने जाते हैं बॉक्स क्रिकेट ही खेलते हैं बट देर इज समथिंग दैट 5 दिन काम करने के बाद थोड़ा सा रिलैक्स फील कराता है हमें
Right.
तो आई फील एवरीबडी शुड डू दैट समथिंग लाइक दैट
Exactly, and also, connect with those kids, connect with kids that you see playing there in those playgrounds. And ma'am, what about you? May I have your name first?
Hi, I'm Sharu, and I think the thing that resonates the most with me is when I play, sometimes shoelaces get in the way. This was me as a kid, this is me still as an adult. Shoelaces always get in the way.
What about you, ma'am?
Yeah. Hi, my name is Amanpreet and congratulations. अभी आपकी शादी हुई है. मुझे बड़ा मजा आ रहा है देख के आपको.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. So जब मैं स्टार्टिंग से मुझे बर्फ पानी खेलना बड़ा पसंद था.
Ah.
जब मैं छोटी हुआ करती थी कोई मुझे पानी कर देता था मुझे बड़ा मजा आता था. So yeah, that's all.
Right, Baraf Pani, Kho-Kho, Poshampa, right? All these games that we've forgotten. But now I want also you guys to, go through the book and maybe read a line out. Sir, can I have you read out something that you like?
सर बच्चों के रिगार्डिंग अगर हम बात करें सर इस बुक की तो अच्छा ही महत्वपूर्ण योगदान होगा इनका सर क्योंकि हम भी उसी परिवेश से पले बड़े हैं
राइट
और उन्हीं से आए हुए हैं और थोड़ी सर हम हिंदी मीडियम में ज़्यादा सहज बात करने में कंफर्टेबल महसूस करते हैं तो सर अगर आप हिंदी मीडियम से हमें शायद पूछिएगा तो मैं आपको अच्छी तरह से इसकी जवाब दे पाऊंगा
आपने ऑलरेडी अच्छा जवाब दे दिया वो बहुत ही सहज तरीके से बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया सर के लिए जोरदार तालियां और यही ज़रूरी है कि हम जो हमारी भाषाएं हैं उन्हें भी प्यार दें उनके साथ भी खेलें उनके साथ भी वी प्ले मैम आप किस बुक में से कुछ पढ़ सकती हैं हमारे लिए
Yeah. Hello everyone. I'm Shahrat, and something which really resonated me was a girl. She's saying that we had dedicated time to come back after playing, and the same happened with me. Like 5 बजे के बाद घर आओ, बहुत अंधेरा हो गया है. So that took me back to my childhood, and I really like the fact that you have included children not from the main tier 1 cities but from different small towns of India, and that is really impressive. Yeah, thank
Lovely.
you.
One more voice and then we'll go to our guest speaker as well. We'll have her thought as well and we'll understand what this playbook is really all about. Anybody here, you can raise your hand as well. Yes, ma'am. Please start with your name and read out something that really struck a chord for you.
So I'm Kirti, and what I struck is lattu. तो हम वो चलाते थे और rope के अंदर बांध के, and then I used to try it on my hand.
Right.
So on the floor it used to happen, but not on the hand. So my brother used to tease कि हाँ मेरा तो हो रहा है तेरा नहीं हो रहा है ऐसे करके. So that's a great memory.
And did you ever try it as an adult?
No. I even don't know whether it is available or not. I really don't know.
I'm sure lattus are available. It's just that they're out of our reach or maybe out of our attention. But thank you very much for these lovely answers. And now I go, yes ma'am, please.
So I've just seen We Want. I think it is showing voice, choice and ownership for the learners. And I'm working as a facilitator from last 15 years. And what I feel that they are creative, they are naturally creative.
Yes, and they have wants, which also is a huge part of learning and play. And now I want to go to Tanya Ji from Reimagining. A very warm welcome to Made in Play. Now, if you were to tell us the thought behind this lovely playbook, this lovely manifesto, and what really, connected with you from this.
So the voices of play, I think the word itself, which is voice, is really telling us that
children are not just recipients, right? They are agency holders. They have a voice too. And that's exactly what this voice of play is capturing. And one thing that I deeply resonated with Voices of Play is that the play is something, all the voices that I actually read in this and the voices that we have captured is demonstrating a sense of safety, that they're safe to be who they are. And especially when we create spaces through play to bring their voices up, they really feel safe. And then it just shifts the paradigm around having us to see them as recipients versus really having them to see as people who also have agency. And just that opportunity creates a space for them to be who they are. Is what I resonated.
And anything you would want us to know from the book, anything that you want us
so
to hear from the book?
There's something beautiful that I read here. It said that my dream playtime is with all my friends and my teachers watching us play. So play is I'm just hearing the need for children to feel seen. Is really capturing in this voice of a child, saying that my children, my teachers watching us play is something that makes them feel seen and heard. It feels so validating. So during the play itself, they want, I remember when I used to play, I used to always go look back and ask my mother to see me. So that's something that I feel is like an inherent need and valid desire for children also to feel
Yeah, even I noticed that if a kid has, aced a cartwheel and then they do it right and then they look around, kisi ne dekha, and then if they know that you are looking at them, they'll do that cartwheel for like 100 more times. So that's something really cute about these kids. And it's amazing, how children can explain the secrets of human happiness in 5 words, while us adults need like a 300-page self-help book to do the same. So that's something that we really need to learn from kids, that that inherent quality of learning, explaining it in a very simple way. I see a hand there. Ma'am, yes, I'll quickly come to you. May I have your name? And then what is something that you want to share from the book? Can I get a mic here? Or actually, you can use this one.
Yeah, I'm Nanu Rekhi. And something that really resonated when I was going through these pages, of course, the colors are wonderful. And that is, what actually I'm identifying with as a child in me. These colors are very special. Congratulations for this beautiful expression and the beautiful, presentation. There's something which says when I play, sometimes shoelaces get in the way. So that really resonated. Why? Because play gives a lot of self-insight, a lot of self-learning, and a lot of self-correction. कभी घर में बिठा के बच्चों को shoelace बंद कराना is impossible. But when it comes so very stimulatingly from play, and it's like, a reflex. कुछ सीखना है मुझे इसके बाद कि मैं shoelace कैसे बांधूं ताकि मैं निरंतर खेल सकूं. So that is something very good, and it really resonated.
Lovely. Thank you very much. Sir, I'll come to you since we have a panel planned and we'll have to move on. And there are a lot of audience interactions that are planned. And of course, we'll come to you time and again and hear what you want to say. Now, this was an amazing exercise. We wanted you to read out from this book and also take something back home. Now, you check this out, and now we move on to our next session, our first panel of the day, which is again all about play. But before that, we want to discuss an ecosystem as well. We look at Sarkar, when it comes to ecosystem, government, municipal authorities, policies, and we look at Samaj, our society, the role of communities. But what about the third pillar, which is bazaar or the market? The market has a massive role to play in bringing spaces, products, and everyday experiences alive for children. But who's actually investing in play in India today? How can the business and design worlds make play available to every single child, regardless of their background? To explore how the bazaar can respond to our children's needs, let's welcome our first panel to the stage. That is Sanjeev Khirwar, Commissioner, Municipal Corporation of Delhi; Meeta Sharma, founder, Shumi Toys; Aditi Agarwal, founder and leader designer, Gudgudi Designs; Radhika Mathur, head of BDP, India's urban design; and Ronnie Gulati, co-founder and managing director in Me Learning. Chatting with them today is my colleague Vedika Sood Sachdeva. Give it up for our panelists and our moderator as well. Over to you, Vedika.
Good morning, everyone. Before we start, we will not allow you to sit for a moment. There's a die right there. and you're going to roll that die and then take your seat. So go ahead, Meeta, you can start. This is my seat, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, there you go. Sir, you're up next. You get 3. Yes. Mr. Gulati, you want to go next?
I'll go last.
Yeah. You get to sit right next to Meeta. You want to win? There's no 6th seat here, so you have to get a 5. You get a 4, and so that's yours. You didn't have to roll the die at all.
Yeah.
That was the strategy.
That was the play.
That was the play. All right. Good morning, everyone. Well, play is one of the most natural things humans do. It doesn't need a goal, doesn't need a scoreboard, it doesn't need a scoreboard, doesn't need a set of rules, not at all. Yet for many children today, the time, space, and freedom to play are shrinking. So today, let's explore a simple but very important question. If play matters so much, are we investing enough in it? And if not, what should we do? Before we begin, I'd like to start with a memory. For all of you, since we're here, we're talking about childhood. What's one play memory from your childhood that you're remembering today? Let's start with you, Mr. Gulati.
So one of the fondest memories I carry is pretend play. I used to create my own imaginative world, whether it is playing with dinky cars and creating flyovers. And I'm talking about, how old am I? I'm talking about almost 50 years back, all right? Dinky cars were a rage then. So creating my own world, my own traffic rules was something I really remember fondly.
Hi. So I lived in a joint family. There were a lot of kids, and I was the youngest. So I had to find my own play. Everybody was older to me. I would play with water, with bottles, mixing colored paper, making my own chemistry lab, and doing my own thing in a corner. I enjoyed that a lot.
Lovely. Sir, you can go next.
Yeah, just playing with friends. You know, we used to live in a large apartment complex. So playing with friends, unstructured games, and then inventing games. Pittu, then Unch Neech Ka Papada, all those things have disappeared. They are not in the dictionary of our children now.
How many of you played Pittu here? And have you passed it on to the next generation? See, very few, very few. All right, go ahead.
I think for me, it was sitting under the gulmohar tree and making those buds as nails, you know, long before gel nails and everything. So putting nails and just like admiring them with friends, I think that is my favorite childhood memory.
Yeah, for me, I think it was endless hide and seek. So I remember as a child, we moved into a new society which was hardly occupied. So being in empty apartments, not being able to be found by our parents when they had to, and just spending all afternoon just hiding and seeking with my friends. Yeah.
All right, on that note, we've gone back to their childhoods. I think I just want to add here that I think playing with grandparents or just visiting their homes has been a very inherent part of my memory as well. Today, as I speak to you all, I have a 10-year-old daughter, and she's on her way to Calcutta to meet her grandparents with the grandparents today. So I think that's very important in the summer holidays to have them with their nana, nani, their dada, dadi, you know, just playing with them, baking with them, sitting with them, and hearing of their childhood stories as well. That's a key memory that they should have for life. But let's start now. Mr. Kirwal, I want to start with you. You know, when we talk about playing and when we grew up playing, we would play in our colony, in our neighborhood, in the park next door, in a neighbor's house. I'm sure all of you have. My question to you is, do you think the space for children to play is unfortunately shrinking now?
Yeah, I would say the space is shrinking both physically and also in a sense that parents also feel that the areas even near about their residences are not that safe anymore. So there is an anxiety amongst parents also, I feel, where they are not very, secure sending their children out to play. So I think it's both ways. So physically and mentally also, like it was mentioned by Nilekani ji, that we also have to stop worrying. Because even we, when our children are growing up, most of the time we were worried that if they are going out of the house, whether they'll be safe or not. So Delhi has changed a lot over the past past 30, 40 years. So we as children were out playing almost all the time. Only dinner time used to get us back home. So that has changed a lot, and also maybe technology, use of so much smartphones have made children a bit insular also.
We're going to talk about how we can collectively change that as adults, as people from different domains. But I want to come to Meeta now, and I have to read this out, folks, because it's a huge list of qualifications that Meeta holds. So Meeta, you have a PhD in computer engineering from Harvard and a background in complex systems design at IBM. Yet, you walked away from the high-tech corporate world to create what you have today. What did it take, and why did you decide to invest in the way you have? And why is that gap there today?
So I think, this move away from my tech life to what I've been doing with Shumi was mostly when I became a mother, moved to India, and I saw this as a huge gap in India where the focus on play was just going missing. So all the focus was more on education and learning in the foundational years. And like all of us ourselves have experienced, play is very important. And through play is where the learning happens. And I wanted to bring that back into our kids' life, and that I wanted to see play be the major power of play was very important for the kids, and that is what I wanted to bring back.
Would you say parenthood changes you in that way to think more about child-centric issues than you would perhaps in the corporate world?
Yes, it does, because you are very closely invested in your child and you want the best for them. And when you see them, you're also responsible for how you're bringing up your child, and you want the best for them. And after moving to India, I saw that there was a huge gap, and I wanted to bridge this gap by making play the center of the lives for kids in the early years.
All right, I want you all to even look back once. At least a moment ago, we had the childhood images of our panelists sitting here, bringing back memories of their childhood here as well. But Aditi, you designed play environments. So I want to understand from you what a meaningful play environment would look like, and how do you create that space for children?
I think one of the lines that also struck me from this book was that, one child said that there should also be a space for us to draw and color in the playground when we don't feel like running around. And I think that is the key to designing any play environment. That is, the play is not just swinging, sliding, or jumping. It's not just about that. It could be something as simple as just, blowing bubbles in the air, or just like how I told about putting fingernails or just coloring or anything. So anything could be play. And sometimes I feel sad that our playgrounds are reduced to just swings and slides, while play is so much more. So I think when we as Gudgudi approach play, we look at physical play, cognitive play, sensory play, social play, imaginative play, and all sorts, so that it is a holistic space for every child, and it's an inclusive space. Another thing is inclusion, which is for children with disabilities. I think those should be the key components when we are designing any environment for play.
And we'll talk about how this can be available to every child, and not just, segments or children belonging to a particular strata or community. We'll talk about that in a moment from now. But let's go to Radhika as well. Radhika, urban planners often talk about infrastructure. They talk about roads, they talk about housing. Why is creating that space for play as essential as the rest of the urban infrastructure?
That's a very good question. I think it's important to remember, when you're making a city for a child, you're making a city for the elderly, for the disabled, for the differently abled, for your disability if you fall down. So we forget that when we are designing cities, it's not just for the adult. And sometimes little things matter. It's simply about that 5-minute walk. It's simply about what am I walking on. If you take a walk with a 2 or a 3-year-old, they will stop every 1 meter. They will look at the stone, they will look at the tree. It's just making that 5-minute walk experiential, safe to a tot lot. Tot lots can be as small as 10 square meters. And you can do textures, you can do bubbles, you can do leaves. But we forget that such small spaces can create so much more. We think about big parks with gym equipment, with slides and things, but kids just need a small toddler.
So would you say that change in perception, that big is better, big makes it cooler, big is what children want without even knowing what children want, is that also a roadblock?
I think so. We have to think down to a grassroots scale. And planning, sometimes you have to go down and see what a family needs. People make big townships saying, we are making it for the children, we are making child-friendly housing. But again, you put one park in the center. I would suggest think about the age groups. Think about 0 to 3 differently, 3 to 5, 5 to 8, 8 to 12, and beyond. Somehow it's all focused very commercially. So I would like to think differently for different age groups too.
All right, Mr. Gulati, I'm going to come to you now. You curate experiences that help children build independence, resilience, confidence, connection with nature. But I want to understand from you, from your perspective, what does investing in play look like beyond playgrounds, beyond toys?
Excellent. And, this has been really racking my head last 20 minutes. True meaning of play. And what she just said, play is freedom. Play is about doing things without boundaries. And play is, what I really like written here, is the root of research. So research can only happen if you let go and don't create rules. When you create rules, play becomes game. So we are not gaming. We need to play, we need to let loose, we need to defocus, de-stress, and that's what is required. So we really need to explore what the true meaning of play is actually.
And when you say we, you're clearly talking to parents and adults here,
Adults,
right?
it's all the adults doing. Children come unknowingly into this world. They didn't think that I'm going to bounce in out over here in this family and in this place, So it's all the adults that need to do what they need to do, which is make a free play world.
Would you say children are our best teachers?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So imagine, and we all know this, so I'm not going to say anything that we don't know, anything which we don't think about. It's as simple as how a child grows up. As a toddler, he's crawling, and me as a father or his mother is always saying, be careful, don't do, right? These are the words we start saying. He's poking the finger in the plug, and you said, don't do, hey, shout at him. So we are building fear in him, and we are not letting the curious self come out. So that's free play. Let loose.
All right. Now we have the person sitting right at the middle, Mr. Khirwar, who's a very busy man. A lot of people going up to him with demands all day long, all month long. He has a busy schedule. So let's put this question to Mr. Khirwar now. The MCD, sir, has significantly moved forward in terms of creating spaces for children. What we know is that there are 5 parks also that have been commissioned for children in Delhi. What have you learned from this initiative, sir? I want to ask you, how will you scale it up when it comes to expanding what you're just doing in other wards in the national capital?
So we have these Nandan Vatikas that we have made in 5 places. So we have learnt a lot from these initiatives. And then we have almost 1,800 parks that we plan to have spaces for children. Like was mentioned earlier also that children don't need too much structure. Nowadays, we put them through too much structure. So for a child to learn ambiguity, to learn unstructured processes also, it's very important for these that these parks have been made. And we have learned a lot from these 5 parks, and we want to scale it up. We have identified some more areas, and it's going to be scaled up very shortly.
So Radhika, let's talk about urban guidelines as well. How do we implement it when it comes to these parks? How do we make it safer? How do we make it greener? How do we make it that space that a child wants to be in?
Right. So we did work with the government, we worked with NIUA and MAUA on creating guidelines for infant, toddlers and caregivers, because that's the age group, 0 to 5, where maximum development happens. So we are not talking about just playgrounds, but we are simply talking about what size your neighborhoods should be, how big your open spaces should be, and what really is needed at a policy level also. So There are guidelines of how much open area a city might have, but how do you design that open area? What percentage of the park space goes to what facilities you need, things like clean toilets, water to drink, breastfeeding rooms. So little things like that which matter to make a safe space to play is important. And for example, simple thing like security. How do you place your benches and lights? Would you sit under a bench which is lit up, or would you sit in a dark corner? So just placement of these things makes spaces better, and this is what we try to do.
Mr. Kirwar, how important is it for you to speak to more and more urban planners then to incorporate such suggestions? Because Delhi needs these parks, these areas, these safe spaces for children.
I think it's a priority that we have to pick up. Children are priorities for parents, but essentially now they're largely being cooped up at homes. And even we growing up as children were out with cousins all the time, with friends. So that kind of also has to come out. Even small spaces can be very child friendly, and we can develop a lot of things over there. So we don't need large areas. So something like this can be planned at local micro levels. So we'll have to probably focus on those kind of planning activities also.
As the boss of the MCD as well, how often are children prioritized, sir? Because we know there's a huge, bucket list or a list of what people want when it comes to Delhi. But in reality, would you say children are in the top priorities, not because you want it to be, but because also of the responsibilities that come your way or the priority list that you have to get through?
Unfortunately, primary education is part of MCD's mandate. But if you ask me for my structure in a week or a day, most of the time is spent in addressing issues of sanitation, and things like this take a back seat. And I personally feel I should be able to devote more time, but unfortunately, I'm not able to give that much time.
I think he deserves a round of applause here for being so honest. So let's just ask you, how would you devote more time, sir?
I think probably spending more time with my team, maybe at least half a day every week, or just on one activity on how to make this, how to make primary education better, how to make this made in play, this kind of thing more, actualize it on the ground. It's something I'll take away from this conference also.
Great. That's what I was just about to ask you. Is this something that you will even, get us involved in, the Bachpan Manao campaign, when it comes to the responsibilities that come your way, your vision for children in Delhi?
Surely, surely.
Lovely. Yeah. That's great. Could we just, again, give him a round of applause, because he's been so frank here about the kind of responsibilities that he has as the MCD boss. But I want to bring in Meeta again now. Meeta, you make organic, sustainable wooden toys, which is great. But how can we make high-quality, non-toxic, safe, screen-free play accessible to every Indian child?
So I think that's a very good question you ask, because ideally every child deserves the best possible play. But in reality, it is very difficult to make it happen, because when you are doing quality play, when you're doing sustainable play, there's a premium that comes with it. And for example, we know that a Shumi stacker, it's a wooden stacker made with non-toxic paints, very safe for a baby to take in the mouth, to play, to learn. But at the same time, it is priced at 700 rupees, which is not affordable for the mass Indian there. So there is always a quality versus cost thing that we have to navigate. And I think here, where to make this much more there for all the masses, I think there's a lot of intervention and support that we need from the government, from the Sarkar, because I think if the Sarkar can help make the procurement easier, the whole pipeline easier for brands like us to innovate and bring it to the market in a much more easier manner, where costs, because affordability is the prime concern. Yes. So if we can make it more affordable, but maintaining the quality, but I think it needs a lot of government support.
I think that's where policy is so important as well. But Advik, bringing you back into the conversation, if we agree that play is for every child, then why are barrier-free playgrounds still so rare?
Yes, I think that's a sad reality. And there are 2-3 pointers that I now understand. One is about perception, about inclusion.
So like we work with a lot of private clients, like real estate developers, schools and everyone. And in the beginning when we would say about inclusive play, people would be like, oh, we don't have anyone with disabilities here, right? You know, we don't need a playground which is accessible, because they would feel that it's an additional cost to them, it's an additional effort to them. So even before knowing anything, they would say a no, because it's a perception of disability and the mindset around it. Secondly, I think some policy needs to come from the government as well. I mean, it's Gudgudi's mission to make every playground accessible, make it such that every child, irrespective of what their ability is able to go and play, find a space to play. And that's my vision. And it would be great if there are policies which says, okay, in a certain set of population, you have at least one playground which is accessible.
I think you need to look at the MCD
Yes.
boss here while you're speaking at this point, because I think
notes of all
yes,
these
you
things.
that's great. But Aditi, just asking you, what would you expect of the MCD chief? Because you talk about inclusion, which is ever so important. We're not only talking about Delhi, we're talking about the entire country. We're talking about towns, cities, villages. So, what would your request? What would your message be to him?
I think it would be the same to, you know, we have so many policies, bylaws for parks, for buildings and everything. We don't, at this point, we don't have, as India, we don't have a playground safety standard. Like in US and Europe, you have these playground safety standards which mandate that you cannot put a rusty slide at a 45-degree angle, so to ensure that the child is injured. So one is those kind of safety standards, and second is to also move one step forward already and say, okay, we will also do it in an inclusive manner so that children with disabilities don't have to think twice before entering a play area.
Very important.
So maybe, you know, having a policy saying that, okay, if there's so much population, you should have one, or maybe at least one equipment which says, okay, you are welcome. Just saying that, putting that message across that, yes, you're welcome into this space, I think does a lot, and which we are right now not doing.
All right. We're going to send you this recording, Mr. Khirwar, that you have it with you, and you can take your folks through it. But I want to go back to Mr. Gulati as well. Mr. Gulati, you worked with children aged 10, 12, 16 years old. What do you wish they had experienced through play at a much younger age? You know, when you take them out, when they go on these excursions, what do you think perhaps is not lacking, but they could have been stronger with in terms of, you know, adaptability or, you know, whatever it is, that would make them stronger than they are today, perhaps?
So that's a large area to cover what you asked me. But if there were two simple action steps that every parent can take till a child is about 12, is do not give them phones and screens, right? It's dangerous, and dangerous to the effect that imagine your 10-year-old child starts smoking. Would you do something? If you would, then you do it for the phone as well. So that's point number one. The point number two, I would say, is make your children comfortable with discomfort. Yes. Right now, I think there is too safe play, and I'm not countering what you are saying. It's basic safety is required, but in that safety, can I take risks? That's what is most important. So two things, don't let screens come by. It's become a new age soother, you know. Nipple देते थे जैसे बच्चों को पहले, अब phone पकड़ा देते हैं. 95% of infants have an exposure to screen. That's research. That's not my number. And you can Google search. So we are in a very dangerous space and state. We spoke about space and state and commitment. I think those are the two things I would request every adult to do and look for. Whether it's policy, government, anyone. Just focus on these. How does this happen?
Well, there have been great takeaways from this panel. We're about to wrap up, but before that, I have a question for all our panelists. I'm going to start with you, Mr. Khirwar. One action, what's one investment in play that India needs to make in the next immediate 5 years, according to you?
So my feeling is that make children a priority, make their childhood a priority. and make it as rich as possible. So for that, invest in making parks which we feel that should be good, safe, and develop a child's ability to be more creative, inquisitive, learn patience, resilience, how to deal with, sitting still also. So I think that kind of thing we have to focus on.
Meeta?
I think again make play the priority. I think there are movements like Bachpan Manao which are moving towards that direction. The government in NEP 2020 also has made the mandate play-based learning in foundational years. We need to double down on this, and we need to take both the Sarkar, Samaj and the Bazaar, because I think the Bazaar needs a lot of support here to make it happen.
Absolutely. Mr. Gulati?
I would say focus on the real play. So make it real. Make play happen, and not just for kids, right through. Somebody said, मेरे को बचपन याद आ गया. याद नहीं आना चाहिए, बचपन में ही रहिए. You know.
Radhika?
I'd say make great parks, but make our cities walkable to walk to those parks. That's more important first, and then everything else will fall in place for me.
I think, same as I said, I think wish government would invest more on high quality parks where families, not just children, families, caretakers, grandparents, all of us can go and have a good time, because those are spaces where bonding happens. Those are spaces where families and communities can thrive.
All right, thank you so much to our panelists. I think we've spoken about parks, we've spoken about playgrounds, toys, experiences in cities, but perhaps the most important takeaway is this. Children know how to play, undoubtedly. It's us parents, us as a community, that need to invest in them. And that's where we wrap up this panel. To our panelists this morning, thank you so much. This has been an extremely insightful session. To parents here, to people from different communities, stakeholders, there's a lot we're going to take back this morning. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That was a lovely session. Thanks to all our panelists. The big takeaway is clear. It is important to invest time, energy, and resources in childhood and make space for play. In fact, investing in childhood is making space for play. But let's be honest, as parents, when we try to do this in the modern world, things can get a little complicated and highly ironic. To shine a light on the hilarious, chaotic reality of raising young kids today, please welcome stand-up momic and content creator Amrita Bendre. Give it up for Amrita. A huge round of applause.
Hello. Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you again. Again. Hello, my name is Amrita Bendre. I'm a stand-up comedian. I don't know what I'm doing here, but looks like you do. I was asked to come and speak to you guys about, let me get this right, irony of modern parenting in early years. Yeah, I made the same face. Huh? Matlab? They were like, focus on playing, focus on playing. Those were the instructions. I'm like, oh, okay. So you wanted me to talk about what is easy communication with children by communicating to me in words I did not understand. Isn't that the irony? Right? So the moment they said talk about playing, immediately my mind went to when we used to be kids and we used to play. Did everybody play as a kid? Oh, thank God. We all used to play as kids, and did you all go to a park to play? My mother had boundaries. I only went to the parking. That's it. And did everybody have a curfew to come back home? Sir, what was your curfew time? 6, 7, how old are you? All right, not bad. My curfew was also, I had a curfew, a very simple curfew, when everybody starts having fun. Just come home, right? And I was scared of my mom. I always followed it. One day I lost track of time. We were playing hide and seek. I hid, nobody seeked. Because सबको लगा कि अरे वह मजे आ रहे हैं, मतलब Amruta must have gone home. But I was hiding and I got late. How did I find out? I was in my own parking. I lived just 3 floors up. My mother yelled my name just from her kitchen. Yeah, it's like, Amrita, 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 Amrita. My name echoed through the 3 floors and slapped me. I was behind a jeep. Yeah, I could hide at that time. Now I can't. Just slapped me across my face. I had to rush home. Yeah, and I'm still scared of my mom. Human bodies are made up of what? 70% water? Yeah, that 70% in my body, that is 50% aansu, 50% susu. I'm that scared of my mother. I dashed home. I climbed those 6 flights of stairs. उसके बाद मैंने जीवन में कभी कार्डियो नहीं किया. मुझे नहीं करना. I dashed home. I dashed into the bathroom. My mother ran after me. She dashed after me with a chaku in her hands. Yeah. I was scared, right? I was washing myself. There was soap in my hand. The soap from my hand slipped. It fell. I slipped on the soap. I fell. My mother picked up the soap. My mom picked up the soap. She cut that soap into 4 pieces, kept 1 piece in the bathroom, and left with the other 3. That's when I found out that, oh my God, my mother is not strict. We are middle class. And she's trying her best. So every time now that I am a mother of a kid, every time I am puzzled or riddled or I'm wondering about what do I do now as a parent, I always think about what would my mother do and do the exact opposite. Because that is really not how I want to raise my child. Right? I was raised like that, and that is, I think, how most of us were raised, with some fear and scarcity. Right? Some fear and scarcity, all of us. Fear, that was one thing I did not want my child to feel. It is impossible to protect her from everything. I was like, at least I will not be the source of it. I will not give her the vocabulary only. Dekh lenge. Let's see. She heard stories, but I never actively gave her the vocabulary of being afraid or fear. Okay, I said, I'll not do it. Let me figure out when she figures it out. She started going to play school. Wahan pe she heard that word many times. Being afraid, fear. She came home and asked, Mama, what is fear? What is afraid? I said, it is an emotion, beta. It is an emotion when I actively see you, when I see you feeling it. And if I think you are feeling it, I'll let you know. Because I had not seen her afraid. Because I was not the one who was going to tell her what I am afraid of. Because let her figure it out. I am not telling her, oh, don't go to the dark. Not my job. Oh my God, there is a monster there. Wo uncle tumko leke jayenge. Kai ko? And what is at the end of 1, 2, 3, even I don't know. Nobody knows. So none of that. So I said nothing. I said, we will figure it out. When I see you afraid, I'll let you know. The next 2 days, she was so aware of what she was feeling. The whole time she was aware, is this afraid? Is this fear? The cooker ka seeti went. She was, is this afraid, Mama? I'm like, no, but it is just startled. It is just startled. She figured it out. Eventually, she figured it out. In her own way, she figured out what is she afraid of. My job is to not impose my fears on her. Let her figure it out. So I'm like, good job. Fear out of the way. The next thing I wanted to deal with was scarcity. Scarcity was one thing that, and again, at that time, we are all middle class. We don't have all the toys under the roof of Hamleys. है ना? सारे toys तो नहीं थे हमारे पास तो बिल्कुल ही नहीं थे. Even I did not buy so many for my daughter. I tried to buy one of each kind. One of each kind. She had enough toys. And malls are inevitable in our lives. So we used to go to malls. She used to see a Hamley. I mean, I was like, museum. I never had a tantrum with my child because I never told what is buying and selling. I took her to, she was thrilled to go to Hamleys, never threw a tantrum because she's like, oh my God, nice, soft, amazing. And every time she liked a toy, we always used to discuss, हमारे घर पे भी ऐसा एक toy है. That brings in abundance. That, oh, I don't have this one, but I have something very similar back home. So I'm sorted. We have it. We have it all. So, and this is something that I constantly practice. I had to be a little aware of it. Like on our way back home, we were in a cab, and there was a balloon wala approaching. Balloon wala saw the child in my cab next to me. Balloon wala had to do his job. I had to do mine. Now it's me against him, right? I immediately showed my daughter, look at that man. His balloons are so nice. His balloons, did I lie? No. They're still his balloons. I have not bought them yet. His balloons. And she was also admiring them. She's like, wow, they're really nice balloons. And the man kept approaching because he was like, Bakra. He came, he tried to sell balloons to her. Oh, beta, dekho, this is colorful. Isme light hai, isme sound hai, is balloon ke andar balloon hai. My daughter looked at him, then looked at me, and she's like, what a show off. So I was like, done. This was so sorted for me. I'm like, ये दो बातों के साथ हमने deal कर लिया. And I like it that all of you are here in so much, I mean, in these kind of numbers, we are having this kind of a conversation. Parenting is changing. Some parents are really becoming great playmates of their children. I love that for us. Some parents are doing a great job. Some parents are becoming what I call an agarbatti parent. Okay, not the agarbatti that we put in a shrine. An agarbatti that we use to light a firecracker. Hai na? What happens when you are using an agarbatti to light a firecracker? You take that agarbatti, you go to a firecracker, very scared. You light it. You don't know if it is lit or not, but you're already scared. So you light it, and you run away from it. And you wait and scared. Is it going to blow? 5 shots, 6 shots, 21 shots, pata nahi kya aayega. You're just there trying to see what is happening. Right? This is what some parents are doing, I see. They just give a toy to the child and then go sit on a sofa. And I'm like, हाँ अभी खेलेगा देखेंगे हम. Nothing. Thank you. Child is not going to play with the child. Don't just give toys. Yes, the child will understand. You have everything. But where is the playmate? Go play with your child. Be a full jhadi. Be that full jhadi. Go with your own spark. Light it. Make sure it is lit. And enjoy the fireworks. Do that. And because then that will bring your child into that space of let's do things together. And when I say play, play. Don't make it a game. Because play is collaborative and a game is competitive. When the child is playing, the child is exploring options. इसका और क्या कर सकते हैं? और क्या बन सकता है? क्या मैं मम्मी बनूं और आप बच्चे बनो? पापा को बुलाएंगे जॉर्जी पिग. We can do that when we are playing. When we are doing a game, you're going to play Ludo. The child is going to either win or lose, or you are going to let the child win. The child is learning nothing. The child is exploring nothing. And this is exactly what I always wanted to do for my child. Like once when my daughter was around 7, 8 years old, and she was excited with this idea to get half of her head shaved. Girl child, ghar mein bahut. Everybody was tense about the idea. But let them play. It is hair. It will grow again. So when she said, and as I said, playing is a philosophy for me. I said, play, yes. And it's not always with toys. It's with ideas, with thoughts, with energies. Play. Let loose. So when she said, I want to do this. I said, yes. And you always do what we do in improv. You yes and when you're playing. Yes, you want to play? You want to do this to your hair? Let's Google some more designs. Why just do a line like Virat Kohli? Let's do a full flower thing, no? So we Googled it. We found the right design. And then she took it to her father. Dad said no. Now she has 2 parents, split right in the middle. One is saying yes, one is saying no. What does she do? She's like, I have one dada, one dadi. And they have never said no to me. She went and asked them. Now she has 3 no's and 1 yes. Dada Dadi were like, no, you can't do that. She's like, now what do I do? She remembered, oh, I have maternal parents also. She went to her Nani. Nani, can I do this? Nani was like, don't go halfway. Go full balls. Nani tried to play the game she played with me. She's like, all or none khelenge, nahi karegi. My daughter was too smart. My daughter, yeah. Yeah, she disqualified her vote. She's like, conditions apply nahi chalega. Say yes or no. So Nani's vote is cancelled. She went to Nana. Nana said, yes, do it, beta. But if you don't like it, after it is done, you can't hide it under a topi. Own it. She said, manzoor hai. Dekh lenge. I'm like, very good, let's go. So now she has how many yeses? Mine and my dad's. 2 yeses and 3 no's. 3 no's so far. Nani ka disqualify kar diya apan ne. No, conditions apply. Aisa unconditional love chahiye. That's it. My husband is an only child. I have a sister. She's like parent. She calls her a parent. A spare parent. So she went to her Masi. Masi said yes immediately. Yes, let's go. I will come with you. I will sponsor. Let's go. Now she has 3 yeses and 3 no's. And now she's wondering, how do I break this tie? How do I break this tie? It took her a little while, like a minute to realize, but she came to it by herself, and I'm so proud. She was like, oh, maine apna vote gina hi nahi. She's like, my vote also counts. Now she has 4 yeses. She went and got her hair cut, fair and square. She was the coolest child in the school. Coolest kid for 2 weeks. For 2 weeks, she was the coolest kid because uske baad the floral thing started wearing off. You could barely see it. A month later, those hairs started growing awkwardly. She kept her promise. She did not wear a topi. She just changed her partition. That's all she did. She went to school. In another 3-4 months, her hair was fine. And she was a cool kid again. And in all of this, because she was playing with ideas and thoughts, she learned so much. She's learned one simple thing: hair doesn't matter. The fun does. Have fun when you do it. Just go do it. Hair will grow back. Right now, she's having a haircut. She would have had this, had I said no then, she would have done this when she was 18, 17, 16 in college. And then going through all of that when she's that old. It's so much tougher. Let them make their mistakes right now. They are in a safe space and you are that. You need to remember that you are their safe space. They are there for you. And you are there for them. And I was not always so cool. I'm assuming you have realized I am very cool. I started off like my mother because that is what you see. That is how you see your mother has been raising you a certain way. So my mother has raised me with rules and regulations and restrictions and boundaries. So I also initially was giving her boundaries. She was around 2 years old. I was a little tired in the afternoon. I wanted to take a nap. Not even a nap. I just wanted to shut eye for like 10 minutes. I'm like, "Beta, 10 minutes. Shut eye. I want to just relax. Afternoon." I'm tired, and I gave her instructions. I'm like, "Don't touch me. Don't jump on the bed like a monkey. Don't talk to me. Don't talk to your toys. Just don't do this, don't do that, don't do this, don't do that." I said, when that long hand goes from 1 to 3, then you can talk to me. 10 minutes. She did not know 10 minutes. Hand, look at the hand. When it goes from 1 to, till that time, don't do any of this. Did you know what she did? I closed my eyes. She went to the laundry basket. She dug up her father's sock and she dangled it in front of my nose. Did she break any rule? But what did I get out of it? No nap. Instead, I could have just given her one simple instruction, not even an instruction, ki beta, go and play. Thank you. That's been my time. You've been a fantastic audience.
Lovely. Give it up for Amrita. Thank you very much, Amrita. Thank you very much. So, you're a momic. We get it. You're momic. Okay, we get the pun there. But You're a stand-up momic because you don't get to sit, is it?
I have sat all my life a lot. I think I
And now
should
it's time
stand by
to
now.
move.
Yeah.
Lovely. Thank you very much. And you've been lovely. Now, again, it's time for our interaction, right? And it's important that we keep this going and we, keep it interactive and conversational. So I'm going to come to one of you and we'll try to catch hold of somebody who's not spoken till now. But yes, sir, there you go, raising his hand. What's your name, sir?
Yeah. My name is Dr. Narendra Jha.
Sir, what has been your takeaway till now? You have a lovely kid with you. That's your daughter?
Yes.
What's your name? Hello? Arya. Hi, Arya. How are you? Fine. Lovely, sir. So what
Yes.
has been your takeaway?
So kids are like wonder for us, and see and one more son that we have. So both of them are always playing, and at times we feel that we are suffocated. We don't get enough time for us, and like how she told that even 10 minutes nap is very difficult.
It becomes a
during
luxury.
during weekend, because in weekdays I am in office. She is managing, so all credits go go to her that how she manages, and managing two kids
Huge
are
shout out to all moms,
really
yeah.
a challenge. So
Yeah.
but again, I mean, one thing that is coming in my mind, if anyone can answer that, these days we are a nuclear family. We are staying in a nuclear family, and kids have all the facilities available with them. And there is a saying that if you have everything, you value nothing. So how to make sure that kids value the facilities and the privilege that they have? So how to make sure that they can value the benefits and the things that they are getting, which we didn't get at our time.
Right.
So I mean,
that's
that is
that's a
what
great
is coming in
question,
my
and
mind.
I hope,
Yeah.
in panels that we have planned ahead, hope you get the answer to your question. And I love Arya's attention span. I would do anything to trade it with her because she doesn't care. She's playing with her clay and she doesn't care
came.
about what we're talking
Yeah,
about.
she came and she played that gamble, that thing, that hula hoop. She
Arya,
did it really
what
well.
are you making here? Can you give the mic to her?
Yes.
What are you making?
No, tell me, which animal is this?
Which animal? Which animal is this?
Yeah, I think we shouldn't disturb her because she's doing a very important job, and that is play. And we shouldn't be disturbing her at all at any cost. But now, moving forward, we want to look at play from three distinct angles that govern a child's life. The artistic side of imagination, the emotional core of relationships, and the hard clinical science of brain development. Is this an actual science to rolling around in the mud? To guide us through the art, the heart, and the science of play, I'd like to invite our next set of panelists to the stage, and I want you to give a huge round of applause to them as they walk into the stage. Dr. Sameer Dalwai, developmental pediatrician; Dr. Swati Popadwats, President Podar Education Network; Paro Anand, author and grandmother; and Natasha Bhadwar, author, journalist, and parent; and of course, my colleague Ambika Singh Kama. Give it up for all of them, our panelists and our moderator. Over to you, Ambika.
Please come. So play is just not fun. It's the art, the heart, and the science of how children grow. Now, from the gurgle of an infant to the imagination of a superhero, play is the invisible architecture of childhood. Now, let's explore how play builds brains, bonds hearts, and shapes our society. Joining me today, let me quickly introduce you. I have with me Dr. Sameer Dalwai, development pediatrician. We also have with us Dr. Swati Popadwats. She's the president of Early Childhood Association and also of the Podar Education Network. I have with me Ms. Paro Anand. She's an author as well, and of course a grandmother, which Arun introduced. And joining us is also Natasha Bhadwar, author, filmmaker, and of course a mom of 3 children. Pleasure to have you all with us.
I think, Dr. Sameer, to set the context, my first question to you here, and for all of us to understand, we really know the science of play. We know how important play is for the development of a child. Now, every time an infant, thank you so much, Sameer. Natasha, are you good? Comfortable? Well, that was also some, play I was just going to put up. So, Dr. Sameer, I just want to ask you, we all know there's a clear science of play. It helps in the development of our children. When, even if an infant is shaking a rattle, looking up to the fan, climbing a tree, playing with blocks, neurons are obviously firing in the brain. What is play really doing to a child's brain? If you can help us understand, what should Indian parents across the country know and pay attention to the importance and the science of play? Over to you.
All right, great question. Let me start by saying that the problem with childhood is it is getting adulterated. And all of us understand children from our adulterated experience of childhood that we carry with us. Coming to the science of it, as you mentioned, let's look at human evolution rather than just, showing some micron pictures of brain. We all know that these are neurons which connect to each other. When a child is born, the child can do nothing. But over a period of weeks to months, the child starts doing so many things because whatever the child sees, whatever the child hears, whatever the child touches, smells, all start connecting as neurons. And that is what we call as learning and development. But the key issue to remember is humans have evolved over 6 million years. And what is the difference between humans and animals? The animal brain can think only in terms of the binary, fight or flight. If you throw a stone at a dog, either the dog will run away or attack you. But in human evolution, we developed the frontal lobe, the frontal cortex, and that gave us 4 attributes. First was the ability to delay gratification, to wait for your turn, etc., to wait for something good to happen. The second was the ability of rational thinking. The third is the ability to communicate. But the fourth most important part that the frontal lobe has given humans is the ability to think and work and act together as a group. Yeah. I can convey my ideas to you, I can convince you, and then all of us can work towards accomplishing that. That is the basis of civilization, of family, of culture, of region, of religion, of nationhood, of cricket teams, etc. The key point I'm trying to make is, we are born with a brain today after years of evolution where the genes are normal and this exists in our brain. But just like a child is born with 2 legs and a normal brain, but he can't walk on the first day of life. The child needs to be nurtured for a year or so till he's able to walk. Similarly, children are born with these 4 abilities, but for them to kick in, he needs or she needs to be nurtured through childhood. So play is that aspect of humanity that allows a child to develop rational thinking, that allows the child to understand delayed gratification, to understand the art of communication, and most importantly, understand the fact that I have to understand each other, cooperate with each other, and work with each other to actually be part of the stream of humanity. And if we understand that the brain is being connected or joined or learning by neurons connecting, if we are able to enable an environment for the child where the child can learn these 4 attitudes, especially the ability to collaborate and work with each other, I think that is play.
I think thank you so much, Dr. Sameer, for explaining that so well. But because you've said how important play is and the development of a child, I want to ask all of you here, how many of you really know that children who play freely for 30 minutes every day, they have 40% better problem solving by the time they are the age of 7. So how many of us knew that? Okay, few hands, not as many as there should be, but yeah, that's such an important connect when it comes to the science of play, right, and the development of a child. Dr. Swati, I wanted to ask you, you've been an advocate of early childhood and work with educators, across the country. What should our educators, and more importantly, the first teachers, which are as parents, what should we understand about the pedagogy of play in our Indian context?
Oh, I'm so glad you asked that question, the Indian context. Jugaad, where does that come from? It comes through play. You tinker, that's the new word the world has come out with. It's called tinkering. But if you see Tod Fod Jod, Jugaad, was always part of our Indian culture. And I think that's what made us solution seekers.
Now, if you go back 4,000 years into Mohenjo-daro and look at the toys that were excavated, you will see that all the toys that came out were Tod-Fod-Jod toys, which means a monkey able to climb on a string, or toys with moving, bobbing heads, etc. So it's very important to understand, even our NEP now talks about play-based learning. And why does it do that? Because lots of educators and teachers, parents that we talk to, we tell them that the right brain develops first in a child. And the right brain is in charge of long-term memory. So marks अच्छे लगते हैं adults को, success अच्छा लगता है, all that comes from long-term memory. And how does the right brain learn? It learns only through songs, games, and stories. So that's where your play comes. That if you want something to go in a child's long-term memory, you need to do it through a song, game, and story. I'm going to say 2 words, and you all are going to say it in your language. Are you all ready? Yes. I'm going to say Varta. Varta means story. What is it called in your language? See? Kahani. See, we have so many words for it. Yeah. Varta is Gujarati because I am a Gujarati. Yeah. Now, I'm going to say Ramakda, which means toys. How do you call them in your language? Khilone. Khilone in Punjabi. See? And look at the smiles when you were doing that, because stories and toys are something that we all enjoy. And we have an educator in our country called Gijubai Badeka, who brought these 2 words into the classroom, which is Varta and Ramakda. And before him, it is the Panchatantra. Again, a teacher who was teaching children through stories. So I think what India stands for in the world of toys, play, is all about it being part of our culture. Yeah. It's part of our everyday. It's not a separate subject. And like you said, I think play can be, I mean, anywhere. We've seen outside, you know, how the khel konas have been created. Yes, I'm sure all of you saw it. Absolutely. So we don't need a designated area, ki, you know, this is the playing area. Play can be, you know, that area can be. Exactly. Children can play and have fun wherever, and that's where they grow. Absolutely. And Dr. Swati, you mentioned about, you know, the role stories play, and we have 2 authors here with us. I know. And, you know, I'm going to ask you first, Paroji. You're, of course, you're a children's writer and a grandparent as well. Give us your connection, the joy, the connection, that, you know, that you wish that more, we should know more of that. What should we know more when it comes to that? And I think first I'm going to ask you from the grandparents' perspective. We've understood the science of play, but let's try and understand the heart of play now.
Great. I like the word heart. I think the best thing about being a grandmother is that I'm not the parent. So, no longer retired. You get to have more fun. Yeah. I get to have more fun. I get to break the rules that the parents are making. What do I wish? That we talked in the earlier panel, there was a lot of talk about space, the safe space. But not enough is talked about the safe time for play, that free time for play. When I was teaching in a school and I was getting children in groups to write a story, which would then go into, to write books, which would go into MCD schools. Because they said that mostly Hindi books were boring. So I said, fine, then write the books that you would like to read. One kid was sitting, not doing anything at all. No one wanted him in the group. So I said, write something. He said, kya likhu? I said, socho, kya likh sakte ho? He says, meri life hi kya hai? He said, मैं स्कूल आता हूँ, घर जाता हूँ, तो यही होता है कि जल्दी जल्दी खाना खाओ, फिर होमवर्क करना है, जल्दी जल्दी कपड़े बदलो, फिर ट्यूटर आ रहे हैं, क्लास पे जा रहा है. So I said, write about that. He wrote a book, a most marvelous book called ट्यूटरों की करतूतें. And it was the best book. That's it, that time. That is what I wish for families, that they give them time. I think that's an important message out here as a grandparent. How much do you think, I mean, of course, like you said, you can break rules. That's also a fun way of, I think, playing. You know, but how have you bonded with your grandchildren? Especially with unstructured play, what we're really talking about. Through stories everywhere.
So stories everywhere.
Everywhere, all the time, in the bath, during meal times.
Yeah.
Bedtime is when the parents do their
So that's when I've
storytelling,
done, with both my boys, I think when they were growing up, story time, and till they were actually quite old, Mama kahani suna do. Hamare time hota tha, ek raja tha, ek rani thi, the typical stories. But yeah, stories really help them think, it helps them grow, their imaginative skill, their creativity.
So like, just, if it's a book that they've chosen and there are open bookshelves, they can take any book. Look at the cover. It may be a book that they can't read, but look at the cover. I'll read them the title.
Yeah.
Make up the story about this, and they make up marvelous stories.
Yeah, so that's another way that they think. Well, thank you for that. Natasha, you have homeschooled. I would like to tell all of you here, Natasha has homeschooled her 3 children, right? As a homeschooling mother, was it all fun and games, having, just enjoying, bonding with your kids? How did you really see that learning and play gives us a view on how it came alive for your children when they were young? Especially if I can ask you the first 8 years of the life where we are actually talking, where the brain is developing. 85% of the brain develops in those first 8 years. So tell all of us a little bit about how homeschooling was.
Yeah, thank you. As an author and a filmmaker, it's very rare times that I find myself being asked to speak as a parent, as a representative of my very interesting family.
And that's where we get the heart and the emotional bond. So we've had science, you had art, and now the emotional bond.
Yeah. So what we have done in our family is not homeschooling, it's what is called unschooling.
Okay, so that's another new term.
Yeah. So my children went to school in the same way that all of our kids go to school, and in the very informed and evolved way in which our generation said, my child will never go to the kind of school that I went to. We would find all these new age schools, alternate schools, schools with smaller classrooms. So we used schools in the beginning. We constantly negotiated with the school. If the child came back and they had some feedback, the school was willing to listen, we would share with them. But eventually, by the time they were kind of finishing primary school, we began to feel that there is something very rigid about the big school structure that cannot, even with all its good intentions, is not really able to create the space for children to become the most creative versions of themselves. And when we reached a place where there was too much dissonance, where they would come back and say, well, this is what we learned, and I'd say, well, this is not
what we want you to.
It's not really like this, and there's some nuance, but.
So you unschooled that.
So we were constantly kind of saying, yes, I know this happened in school, but this is not the right thing to happen. And it became so much that we began to feel that maybe there is an alternative. Maybe there is a different way to raise ourselves as a family. And that's when we connected to the unschooling community in India that meets twice a year in different venues. There are about 1,000, 2,000 families get together. They stay connected throughout the year. And I shifted it from homeschooling to unschooling in that it's not that we said we are going to remove the curriculum of the school and allow the child to explore learning, that I'm going to become the teacher. It became that we are going to remove the structure of the school, that you learn everything for 40 minutes, you get a small time to play, you get to play in a certain way. We said, let us see the home entirely as a safe space and learn from each other what is the most playful way in which we can become learners and we can become creative people. We can become the artists we're born to be. So it's been very experimental, it's been very difficult, but it's taught us a lot. And it's given us a lot of stories to share.
So definitely another very unique way. Well, thank you for, I think, setting the context of our conversation today. So we've got the heart, we've got the how the bonding is done, the emotional quotient. Dr. Swati, but I think it's very important for all of us to really understand what really is the difference between structured play and unstructured play, and why is unstructured important? Because very often we go out and we say, you know, our child is playing, or he has a football class, like you said, you know, or has got a cricket class, going for music, piano. So really, if you can tell us, why is unstructured play important?
So if I were to give a child blocks right now, and the child will start playing according to their imagination, according to their interest, that's unstructured play. But if I tell the child कि at the end of the play, I want a nice structure, photo lene layak hona chahiye. So that is structured play. Any play that has a class next to it, football class, cricket class, is not unstructured play. It is structured play. Any play in which आपके पास एक goal है कि यहाँ से ये सीखेगा, इस toy से ये सीखेगा, इससे ये करेगा, so that is also structured play. So it is very, very important for us to understand. I know the previous panel spoke about parks, but let's go into the history of parks. Ancient times, children did not have parks. Parks are a gift of the factory revolution. क्योंकि factories खुली तो parks की ज़रूरत पड़ी. Parking आ गया buildings में इसलिए park की ज़रूरत पड़ी. But park is also structured play. Let me be very frank. Because वहाँ पे जो equipment डाला जाता है, the parent then wants the child to play only in that particular way. If a child wants to climb a slide from the slide upwards, you will stop the child.
गिर जाओगे.
हाँ, गिर जाओगे. ऐसा मत करो. Rule है. इधर से ही जाना चाहिए. So I'm not talking about the dads picking up their child and putting them there. That is also wrong, because effort is very important. But unstructured play comes in the cracks in the adult's life, which means जहाँ adult नहीं देख रहा है, वहाँ पे बच्चे खेल लेते हैं. तो जो एयरपोर्ट पे जब आप लेके जाते हो बच्चे को और वो टप 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 करके हर एक वॉल को टच करते हुए जाएगा, that is play. So anything with which the adult does not look for a goal, a success, something to click a photograph or something for the child to learn. Like just when I was coming to Delhi, a child was squealed with delight and rushed to that window of the airport and said, "Mama, plane." Okay, and that was play. And then the child started swaying like this, jitna bhi plane move hota tha. And the mother said, "Okay, abhi batao mujhe plane ke upar logo kya hai?"
So it became a
and
question.
That's when the play disappeared and the child just moved away from there. Yeah. So structured, unstructured, big words, very simple definition. A play in which the child takes the lead is unstructured play. Yeah. A play in which the adult takes the lead is structured
So
play.
like for example, climbing a tree, how many of us have actually scraped our knees while we were growing up and we thought it's a badge of honor? Kyo? I think
I recently scraped it.
So you're still climbing? Are you still climbing trees?
I still don't know my size. I recently climbed and I scraped my knees.
Okay, but before I come on, sorry, Dr. Sumit, you want to add something quickly?
I'd just like to come back to what both the speakers said. Dr. Swati mentioned very nicely that when the child is dancing, singing, or music is playing, the child learns faster.
Yeah.
That's because singing, dancing, and music are three things that make you happy. And when you are exposed to some stimulus in a happy environment, you tend to absorb it faster. I also loved what she said about unschooling. So going back to what we said earlier, all those 4 attributes of the frontal cortex were achieved over 6 million years because children, for the largest part, have lived in communes.
Yeah.
In groups of झुंड कहते थे उसको 100-150 लोगों के झुंड में. And biological parents कोई भी हो, वो पूरे झुंड में कोई चाचा है, कोई मासी है, कोई बुआ है, कोई मामी है. और ये जो 4 एट्रीब्यूट्स हम सीखते हैं, रैशनल थिंकिंग, डिलेड ग्रेटिफिकेशन, वर्किंग एज अ ग्रुप, कम्युनिकेशन, वो हम किताबों से नहीं सीखते, वो कॉलेज से नहीं सीखते, वो चाची, मासी, बुआ, मामी से सीखते हैं. क्योंकि इंसानों से हम विविधता सीखते हैं. Schools, as much as I love them, unfortunately, all academics is binary. 1 + 1 is, बताइए? 2. अगर आपने 3 बोला तो you are wrong. So either you are right or wrong. If you answer 50% right questions, you have passed or you fail. If you have passed, you are promoted or you are demoted.
Yeah.
So the problem with academics is like Dr. Swati said, it's the factorization of it. It makes it into a factory. And that's why it becomes unstructured. So the brain, even if it learns only binary. Ye karna hai ya ye karna hai. And somebody talked about resilience in the morning. Resilience is when you cannot think beyond the binary. And resilience you learn from that Masi's house. You go there, she makes great pulao. You want to eat that pulao, but she'll start. क्या है तू आता नहीं घर पे मुझे phone नहीं करता है मिलता नहीं हाँ 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 मासी yes you're waiting for the pulao.
Yeah.
That is resilience.
I think, yeah, very well put. But Natasha, I'm going to quickly ask you, yeah, I think that does, for explaining it so well. But Natasha, what is your role as a parent? आज हम parenting style की बात करते हैं. Your participation as a parent in play, with your daughters while they were growing has helped you deepen your bond with your children.
Yeah. So I have to admit that for all the exciting things I've done in my life, as a career woman, the most transformative experience has been spending time with the children. It kind of removed all my masks. It put me in touch with the core of me. I have spent endless afternoons being bored to death because I've been stuck with the children and have had to innovate like them. How do we get through this afternoon? So I have photos of them from their childhood summer vacations where we've got large tubs of water inside the house and their mangoes and the children are sitting in them. And, I'm taking a minute off to take a photo. So constantly innovating and learning from them, with them, what is it that gives us joy? Which is not going to the supermarket or the mall or necessarily the park, but things that we can invent ourselves at home.
I think what you rightly said really, hits the spot is learning from them. How often do we think that we are learning from our children? So I think that's again been a very key takeaway. But quickly, I'm going to ask you one quick round of questions. Paroji, as a society, when we look at it as a whole, Natasha spoke about the joy when we're actually learning from one another. Why, as a society, must we prioritize whether it's joy, empathy, and early childhood development? Why is that important? And what would you say to all the parents and the grandparents here today in this room?
Joy, I think, is the key word here. And a lot of places, because I work a lot in villages as well, this term, that children are fool jaise bacche, they are not fool jaise bacche, they are neither flowers nor fools. Because flowers are too delicate. And I think for me, the joy, if I can just put it very crisply, do you prepare the path for the child to walk on, the road for the child to walk on, or do you prepare the child for the road that she is going to walk on? So path for the child or child for the path? And obviously the answer is you have to prepare the child for the path. Because
the path can change,
because
path
the
can
path
be
can
anything,
keep changing and you may not be there.
Yeah, I think another valid point.
I think that, again,
as a society,
that word,
we need to prepare.
Resilience. And children are born resilient, I think, in my experience. I've worked with over 3 lakh children. I've worked with children in Kashmir who didn't know what a story was. When I told them a story and they said, "Kya ye hakikat hai?" And I said, "Aapko kya lagta hai, hakikat hai ki nahi hai?" So I said, well, it was the story about a bear who climbs on the moon, so hakikat nahi ho sakti. And they were like, "Ah!" So what happened? They said, "Agar sach nahi hai, phir jhoot hai. Aur jhoot buri bala hai." They didn't know what a story was. So how to give them back, not only story, but give them back that childhood.
Yes. That's, I think, again, a very valid point. We're running short of time. So I think, what we've really put across here, I mean, of course, we wanted to talk about pretend play. In fact, last question for the audience, how many of you have played Ghar Ghar, Doctor Doctor, pretend play? So kya aajkal ke bacche, do we see kids?
Yes.
Do they play?
Yeah, I would say in some places, but wherever the terror of toys has taken over, especially commercialized toys,
that's where children's imaginations have left the house.
So that's another.
So that is where. And it's very important that if we are talking about policies, we also came out with a play policy. And we told doctors like him, pediatricians, prescribe play. आप जब prescription लिखते हो ना, उसमें लिखो कि खेलना है और बाहर खेलना है.
So actually a prescription.
When that will happen, parents will take it seriously.
So when you realize the importance of play and the actual development of a child. Well, on that note, thank you so much for joining us today, Dr. Sameer, Dr. Swati, Parva, Natasha. It's really been a pleasure to have you with us today at the Play Summit. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Ambika.
Thanks.
Lovely. Give it up for our moderator and our panelists. And as we move forward, we'll also again, do that little interactive session and have your thoughts as well. We have Farah from Troy Blocks as well. Very warm welcome to our summit. Thank you so much for joining us. And I had a very particular question for you, which is, when kids are playing with blocks, what shift do you see in their minds, in the behavior, and how is it different from, let's say, playing with something really massive or fancy? What shift do you see when they play with blocks, when they're left alone with their blocks?
I think it is imagination and curiosity that takes the top seat. And that is what is going to drive the play further without instructions and allowing the kids to be just kids and not elder people, not adults. So Dil To Bacha Hai Ji exists at that point. It exists even now.
And how often do you see adults also, get really involved with the blocks?
I think parents are evolving and they are play companions. So yes, that's from my side.
Lovely. Thank you very much. Any parent here that I can come to? Please raise your hand. Hi, ma'am. What's your name?
My name is Sanpreet.
Sanpreet, really nice meeting you. Now, we're talking about, collaboration. Parents also going out there to play with kids. May I know how old is your kid and what do you like playing with them the most?
So my son's 4 years and my daughter's 18 months. So I'm still navigating the challenges of motherhood, as I would say. But yes, there are these quiet moments, like I just heard somebody say, that when they're left alone, the blocks can be a Chandrayaan, and that is where you realize that they're learning everything that they're hearing in their environment. So to have that sort of environment and for parents to put in that effort is one of the most important things, I feel.
Right. Effort is I think, is a key word here for me. And it's really important to put in that effort and then make play come alive for our kids as well. Now, of course, our session, reminded us that play isn't a break from learning. It is the learning. Now, this is a day of many firsts. India's first National Summit on Play, India's first National Play Manifesto by children, and now India's first BM8 talk. Now, what's that? BM8 talks are talks that raise an idea or an insight on early childhood in 8 minutes or less, around the abundance of the first 8 years of childhood. Therefore, the significance of BM8. Our first speaker is an architect who finds space for play where people think none exists. Kabir Vajpayee is a son, brother, husband, father, and a friend. A practicing architect and a social entrepreneur, he works towards developing responsible social infrastructure. He stands for non-violence, peace, empathy, integrity, equity, and dignity for himself and all. Please welcome Kabir Vajpayee for his talk, The Invisible Playground, How Do We Make Space for Play? Give it up. Stage is all yours, sir.
I'm going to share with you something that when I reflected upon from my childhood and how it is contributing today. So can I have my slides on? So as he just said, he introduced me as son, brother, friend, husband, father. Now, I think I'm in a process right now. I'm somewhere in between where I'm trying to develop kindness. I need some qualities in me to be kind, to be loving, to be caring, to be compassionate. Basically, I'm trying to be a better human being. And I'm going to share with you how this journey, in a way, began. So something more about me, and I'm also an architect and a social entrepreneur. And many of the qualities that I need to have with me as a professional, I'm just listing them down right now. So I need to dream, I need to imagine, I need to understand deprivation and lack, because I work in the social sector. I also need to have a quality to join the dots. I need to know that how do you start from what is already there, improvise on what is available at any point of time, and creativity with hands, and finally converting ideas into reality. I'm just listing them down right now. But when I trace them, that do I actually have them? I discovered that there is a connect with my childhood. We are very passionate about children and space, where we want to develop space as architects which can contribute in value creation in their life. And we have been doing this for a long time now. And as a result of that, in past several years, we have been able to reach out to a very wide, country-wide, outreach in schools and Anganwadis. So I had a very fulfilling childhood, or so I thought. And we had a home in Bhopal, in central India. And it was a space which had nature. It had, this is my sister, my mother. They are roaming around there. And it was like a wild growth. And I had a very caring and a compassionate family and an extended family, where I grew up. But there's something much more than just this which happened there. So this extended family is where something very interesting happened. So there was a setting in that place, which was a patch of unused land with wild nature. It was not a playground. And then I had a wonderful person, my mentor, Mohammed Zubair. He was a gardener, but really speaking, he used to spend a lot of time with me. And I used to spend a lot of time with him. What really happened there was that, with him, we started creating the outdoor in a very different manner. And this outdoor was really about a lot of creative things. So there were resources which we started picking up, and Zubair would take me on his bicycle. I would sit with him, or we would just go together, take a walk. And, we would take out this junk and the scrap and the natural materials and the stuff which was lying around after the construction of a road or something else. And we would come back, and a small play space was created. And this is my sister and me. And we would make a whole range of things. We made a working dam. We made, which would actually irrigate the garden. We generated electricity with a hydel generator that would light up a whole. This is I'm talking about when I was around 8 to 10 in age. A road with actual tar road, a train line with a moving miniature train, a bridge, and all those things. I think what really happened there was that there was a time of openness, that was a space of slow play. And there was this nurturing hand and compassion of Zubair, who was always there, present. And as I think some of the previous speakers spoke about, Zubair brought जुगाड़. जुबेर के कारण जुगाड़ आई, और उस जुगाड़ में बहुत सारी चीजें हुई. And these were the moments of creativity. And I think these make me whosoever I am today. And I'm saying this because I think that all the root of that was that play space. So that dreaming and imagination, understanding, deprivation and lack, joining the dots, starting from what is present, there was nothing there, and we would create so many things out of that nothing. We did not buy any toy. Whatever little bit here and there, but most of it was created right there. And through tinkering, जुगाड़ के लिए जो आपने शब्द बोला, exactly वही था वो. और उसमें इतनी तरह की चीजें बनी, इतनी तरह की चीजें आई कि मैं आपको बता नहीं सकता. So improvising with what is available, creativity with hands, and converting ideas into reality. And these were the two key ingredients. The space, which was not exactly intended to be a play space, but that space for invisible play at D8 Chauhattar Bangle, which is where our house was, and Zubair, these were the two critical things which really made the whole thing. I'm really I feel my gratitude that I'm still fortunate that I have a space to be and a caring and compassionate family around me. This is my son, my mother, myself, and my wife. She's also here right now. And as a father, I realized that whatever I have received in my own childhood, I must offer that to my own child in some form or the other, which I tried. Of course, I'm not Zubair, and I'm not in that kind of space. But whatever I could, I did try to do that so that, he could improvise with what he has, and he could just, take off from that point onwards. I spoke to Zubair because of this conference just 2 days back. And he was so thrilled. He was initially quite perturbed to see my white mustache and so on. But then later on, he reconciled with the fact. And then we decided that we are going to meet in next 20 days' time in Bhopal. So this was the conversation we had. And at the end, before I end, I would like to say that how do we make this space for play? You don't actually need a formal space to play. And as we have been discussing about parks and other things, this can be created almost anywhere, inside a room, in a corner, anywhere. All we need to do is not wait. Start with what you already have. Observe carefully what is already there. See the possibility of play. I think this is very important. Child would, in any case, know. But we as adults have to be mindful of this. Enact a play, a mock play. Let freedom be the only rule. I think that is very critical. And that is what we have been discussing in so many different ways since morning. Arrange the setting with the child. And I think that is where they need to be part and parcel of the process of making it. Arrange simple resources with the child. Invite and let the child play. Engage with all the senses to the extent possible. Create a sense of safety and engagement. I think this is all I have to say and contribute. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Clearly, where we really need to make space for play is not in our physical spaces, but in our minds. But when we talk about making space for play, we have to ask ourselves a critical question. Are we really making space for everyone? A playground isn't truly public if a child with a disability has to watch from the sidelines. To talk about what play looks like for children of all abilities, please welcome disability rights activist and CEO of the EkStep Foundation, Nipun Malhotra. Give it up for Mr. Malhotra.
Can I get the slide clicker? Slide clicker, please.
Say it again.
Slide clicker, please.
Okay. Can we get the slide clicker for him?
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. This is not a conference on astrophysics yet, it's on play. I thought I'll get a better response. Good afternoon, everyone. Good, that's much better. Can I get a slide clicker from somebody? I asked for a clicker and somebody got a stool instead. I think they're playing with me. Not that I'll fit on it either, but yeah. Slide kaise change? Thank you. Does it work? Yeah, hi everybody. So when I was told to speak about play, I thought I'll really share my own life story because unlike other children with disabilities, where disability is really the focus, I think I was lucky that I was born to a mother for whom the child was the focus and not the disability. When I was born on 1st September 1987, so you guys now do know how old I am because of that. And when I was taken out of my mother's womb, doctors actually said that Nipun is going to live the life of a wooden doll. And they thought there's nothing really that can be done. There were some that even said that, well, it's worth keeping him alive because his neck is straight, but isse kuch umeed mat rakhna. And it was basically a very gloom and doom prognosis. You know, my parents, my extended family, everybody really decided to start thinking, hum kuch medical karte hain to really save Nipun in that sense, you know. So they took me to all the doctors that they knew. They took me to all godmen. They were very secular. It didn't matter which religion that godman was from. And I have one photo in my life of me standing. You guys can see it in that slide there. You guys might think that I'm smiling, but it's actually a grimace of pain because there was this one doctor who basically tied me up to some kind of caliper and made me stand. And in return, he got, I guess, a lot of blessings and a lot of tips from my extended family in that sense. Before they realized when they came back home that this solution does not work. It was just a one-off solution in front of the doctor. But luckily for me, you know, my mother went to a doctor when I was around 3 or 4 years old, who basically told her that Nipun is never really going to deprive you of the joys of parenthood. So why don't you give him a completely normal life? And I think it's that from then onwards that she really made it her mission. The first step in her life was really to send me to a school. And a lot of people told her, why don't you send Nipun to a school for the disabled? But she said, no, what is really the point of sending Nipun to a school for the disabled? He really has to face the normal world at the end of the day. And fortunately, she decided that she must send me to a normal school. There were dozens of schools that rejected me before there was this one school that finally accepted me. And even when I entered that school, I was socially extremely ostracized. You guys can see this photo here from a comic I wrote where basically I am entering a birthday party at Narula's. And as soon as I enter that birthday party, all the other children really sideline me and they start talking to each other. You know, and I'm not really socially included in that sense. And that really was my life in school in that sense. But what was lucky for me is that my mother really taught me 2 lessons. One, really make the most of whatever you can do. So what started happening is that I realized that I'm pretty sharp at academics. And I soon started topping school in class 6th, 7th, 8th, etc. Which is why it's actually a shocker to me that I've been invited to a play summit and not an education summit, you know. When I started doing well in academics, this was the mobile phone era. And we only had landline phones. So what used to happen is that students now knew that, you know, agar koi exam ke pehle ek din pehle doubt solve karni hai, to Nipun ko hi phone karna hai. But because of landline phones, I used to give my mother a list of people who were nice to me throughout the year in school. And tell her, agar ye log phone karenge, to mujhe phone de dena, aur koi phone karega, to mujhe phone mat dena. You know, and that's how I really learned how incentive systems work. But I think more important than that, I think, you know, what really happened is that my mother allowed me to dream. You can see this ridiculous photo here, one of me, you know, wearing cricket pads, all ready to play cricket. The other of me actually on a cycle. I don't even know how my mother made me fit on that cycle in that sense. But I think what unfortunately really happens in this country is that when a child with a disability is born, you really start pre-planning their career too much, you know, getting angry. And I think it's understandable as well, where you get too anxious that what will my child with a disability really do in this society that's not really ready for them? And you start focusing purely on academics, or you start focusing कि अगर there's this stereotype, right? अगर blind बच्चा है तो उसको singing में डाल दो और 10 साल उसको गाना दिलवाते रहो, वो singer बन जाएगा in that sense. And not really allowing the child to explore the world, discover the world. If I wanted to play cricket, my mom did not really laugh at me. She said, okay, fine, Nipun, play cricket. And she actually bought me the pads, helmet, etc. And well, I'm sure she was an adult unlike me, and she knew how stupid that was, that I wanted to play cricket. When I wanted to ride a bike, she actually had some bike customized so that I could fit on it. And it's not that I really became a great cricketer. In fact, my childhood dream became to become a cricket commentator when I myself realized that, oh God, mom is so stupid. Does she really think I can play cricket? You know, I outgrew her in that sense. And I started trying to become a cricket commentator, and I started commentating in school. When school sports days came, I started finding ways to get involved in sports days by becoming an MC. But that was because my family really believed in me. And I think that really is a change that really needs to happen for persons with disabilities, where you actually give them a complete, independent, and normal life. You know, my school also used to have this big auditorium. And I used to land up for auditions every year in this particular auditorium. And my dramatics teacher, she did not really know how to fit somebody like a child with a disability like me. Till one year, she came up to me and said, Nipun, I found a perfect role for you. I said, great. She said, yeah, it's very great because you're going to be on the stage throughout the play, more than the lead actor and the lead actress. I went back home and celebrated. The next day when I landed up for rehearsals, I realized she'd realized that ये तो disabled है, wheelchair पे है, स्थिर बैठ सकता है, इसको tree बना देते हैं on the set of the play. But you know, that gave me confidence, that allowed me to be on stage. And by the next year, I was given creative ideas that why don't you make me an old man on the stage instead? Because I'm on a wheelchair, I'll powder my hair, I will look old. Obviously, that didn't help me get girls when I looked old, but I was on stage. And I think it's really this belief that really allowed me to do what I am done today. Today, I'm on the board of multiple companies. I've been working with the government closely on laws and policies. And I am trying to make this country change for persons with disabilities one step at a time. And I think all that is because my mother was stupid enough to dream. My mother is here in the audience today. Mom, can you please stand up for everybody? So I'll just end by saying that, yeah, whoever your child is, irrespective of disability or any other difference that they might have, just dream with them, allow them to dream, and keep dreaming till your child outgrows you in the dreams and says, how stupid are you to dream so big? Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Once again, give a huge round of applause to him. That was quite insightful, motivating. And now again, we go back to our lovely audience. And again, the conversation is about childhood, the memories that you've had, and what is one memory from your childhood that you would love to relive?
One memory that I would love to relive is when I was maybe in 6th, 7th, or even before that, I used to come home around 2 p.m. and go to tuition at 2:30. I'll come back by 4, and then I used to play for 2-3 hours. There was no phone to worry about. And that is something which I really miss. And also I feel bad for the kids because they are even not free from the stimulation, and they are not, yeah, the devices, and they are not getting to really play.
Right. Thank you very much. Any parent here? Somewhere here in the middle. So how do we deal with devices? First, what's your name? How old is your kid?
My name is Sanjit Goyal. My daughter is 4 years old.
Lovely.
We as parents, this is my wife Shraddha, we as parents have been very careful from day one about devices because, you know, we live in a society where there is so much of peer pressure as well, you know. Our children are meeting and talking to other children who are all the time talking about what they saw on the phone or what their parents were doing at home or their, say, grandparents, uncle, aunties, whosoever. So we've been very careful about the fact that around our daughter, we avoid using our phones ourselves, right? And now, over the time, she's realized the fact that if I am, say, sitting with my dad and my dad is using the phone, she will automatically come up and say, Papa, please keep your phone down. So sometimes, out of instinct, I pick up my phone and I know that if she's going to stop me, then it's something that we have done right.
Right.
So very proud of that.
What's her name?
Sanchit.
Sanchan.
Yeah, Sanchit.
Sanchit.
Yeah.
Okay, so you also tell me, you know, the definition of fatherhood is also changing.
Yes,
Is there anything that you, let's say, didn't see your father doing and now you are including in your fatherhood journey?
I mean, all of it. My mother is probably taunting my dad more than she's taunting her daughter-in-law. So, no, but then...
no, but if you could point out one thing that you have probably brought in your fatherhood journey that you didn't see your father doing, and then...
I have been a lot more involved in terms of her, you know, things that she does, like taking her to the school, or once a week sitting down with her and, you know, working on the things that she likes, maybe art and craft or school homework. I don't think so my father had the time to do that ever. And, you know, even we try and plan dates in a manner wherein one day a week we're able to spend the entire evening with her. Even go on coffees to places where they offer shakes without ice creams, probably. So that is something that we have done consciously, and I don't think my father did that. So.
Lovely. Give it up for this gentleman. And ma'am, how much would you rate him out of 10 as a father?
Only for Sundays, 10 out of 10.
Only for Sundays. So there's room for improvement. And as a husband?
As a husband, 10 out of 10.
Oh, lovely. Give it up for a lovely husband and a lovely father. Thank you very much. Now, you know, behind every happy, playful child is an adult who holds invisible threads together. This will not be a true Made in Play Summit if we don't celebrate the educators on the ground who every single day guide families, shift community mindsets, and turn simple laughter into critical learning. This next session brings together early childhood educators from 3 very different settings, all united by one purpose: to nurture early childhood. And trust me, anyone who handles a room full of 4-year-olds every day deserves our absolute attention. I would like now invite on stage our everyday heroes, and I also want you guys to welcome them with a huge round of applause. We have Tabassum, an Anganwadi educator from Shadra District, Delhi. Sunita, another Anganwadi educator from Pachaitan Village, Greater Noida. Nanu Rekhi, advisor, Bal Bharti Public School and Child Education Society. And Parul Bajaj, IB PYP facilitator at Early Years Learning in Charge Learners International School, and our moderator, once again, Ambika. So can we give a huge round of applause for our panelists and our moderator, Ambika. The stage is all yours.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. Now, at the Made in Play Summit, this session is Why, What I Do. Now, today we bring together 3 different perspectives, 3 different settings, united by one purpose, which is to nurture childhood. Now, we all know the first 8 years of life are times of extraordinary growth when play, often unorganized and unstructured, becomes the foundation of confidence, imagination, and most important, resilience. And get behind this play are educators who hold the invisible threads together, guiding families, shifting mindsets, and showing us what looks like simple laughter is, in fact, the most critical work of all. So today, we gather here to celebrate those to nurture who are actually nurturing childhoods filled with play, laughter, and discovery. But before I introduce you to them, since they are the educators, ये हमारे बच्चों को सिखाते हैं, खेलना सिखाते हैं, कैसे खुश रहते हैं अपने उनके मुश्किल समयों में सिखाते हैं. Can we please have a big round of applause for all our educators here? So I have with me Tabassum, आंगनबाड़ी educator है, वो शाहदरा district दिल्ली से है. ये तबस्सुम है. साथ ही हमारे साथ सुनीता जी हैं, वो एक आंगनबाड़ी एजुकेटर पंचायतन विलेज ग्रेटर नोएडा से हैं. Also joining us, we have Nanu Rekhi. She's an advisor, Bal Bharti Public Schools, Child Education Society. And we have with us Parul Bajaj, IB PYP facilitator and Early Years Learning in Charge Learners International School. Thank you all so much for joining us.
Thank you.
तबस्सुम जी, मेरा पहला सवाल आपसे होगा. आप प्ले यानी कि खेल में हर रोज़ काम करते हैं, बच्चे आपके साथ बहुत समय बिताते हैं जब आप आंगनवाड़ी में होते हैं, उनके साथ आप घंटे समय बिताते हैं, चाहे उनकी हंसी हो, उनका रोना हो, उनकी खेल, उनको क्या पसंद है, उनको क्या नहीं पसंद है. अगर मैं आपसे पूछूं, आपके एक दिन के काम में आपके लिए एक सफल दिन क्या होगा?
सभी को नमस्कार. मैं अपने पहले दिन की शुरुआत ऐसे करती हूँ. सबसे पहले जैसे होता है सभी जगह प्रार्थना करती हूँ, ईश्वर को याद करते हैं हम लोग. उसके बाद मेरे पास बच्चे आते हैं. जब बच्चे क्लास में मेरी जो आंगनवाड़ी है उसमें एंट्री करते हैं, तो कुछ बच्चे ऐसे होते हैं कि रोते हुए आते हैं. कोई माताएँ, मतलब जब शुरू में बच्चा एडमिशन होता है तो 6-7 दिन में माता को भी बिठाती हूँ उनके, क्योंकि मेरे पास 3 से 6-7 3+ और 6 साल तक के बच्चे होते हैं. 6+ करते ही वो मैं स्कूल में एडमिट करा देती हूँ. मेरे पास हर तरीके का बच्चा आता है मेरी आंगनवाड़ियों में, मेरी जो साथी हैं उनकी आंगनवाड़ियों में. तो मेरा यही उद्देश्य रहता है, जो बच्चे मेरे पास आ रहे हैं वो हंसते हुए जाएं. कुछ हंसते हुए आते हैं, कुछ रोते हुए आते हैं, कुछ डरते हुए आते हैं, जो न्यू है. वैसे जो पुराने हो जाते हैं वो तो माहौल में ढल जाते हैं. मेरे को बोलते भी हैं हंसने वाली मैडम, मोटी मैडम, हंसने वाली मैडम, बहुत हंसती हैं. तो मैं क्या करती हूँ, मैं पढ़ाती नहीं हूँ, मैं अपनी आंगनवाड़ी में नहीं पढ़ाती. मैं जो मुझे कराना होता है, जो भी मुझे कराना होता है, पहले मैं अपना माइंड सेट कर लेती हूँ, अपना पूरा माइंड मैपिंग कर लेती हूँ। फॉर एग्जांपल मुझे आज स्टोरी करानी है, अब स्टोरी टेलिंग में बच्चों को करा रही हूँ तो बहुत बड़ी बात है बच्चों के लिए, छोटे बच्चे में। मैंने मान लो रीतू का पैर कराई या कोई भी स्टोरी कराई, मैंने पात्र जो हैं मेरे वो मैंने माइंड में सेट कर लिए, उनके मैंने एक वो बना लिए मुखौटे, जिसे हम मुखौटे बोलते हैं। मान लो रीतू बना ली, उसकी मदर बना ली, एक सहेली बना ली, और ऐसे करके देखो हम वेस्ट मटेरियल यूज़ करते हैं जो हमारे पास होता है, और ईसीसी की किट भी होती है। मैं क्या करती हूँ कि उसको मैंने ऐसे पैम्पलेट बना लिए, एक रीतू है, पहले मैंने अपनी भाषा में, जो बच्चे भाषा यूज़ करते, बेटा एक अच्छा बच्चों एक बात बताओ, आज कभी किसी के चोट लगी है, बच्चे कहते हैं मम्मा मैडम मैं जा रहा था मेरे रास्ते में चोट लग गई, ऐसे ऐसे बताते हैं। कुछ बच्चे रोते होते हैं, तो मैं सोचती हूँ माहौल अभी नहीं है, फिर मैं अपने मूड में आ जाती हूँ, डांसिंग के मूड में एक्टिविटी कराती हूँ मैं। कैसे? एक मेरी पोयम है जो काफ़ी फेमस है, चुरमुरा चुरमुरा।
पोयम कराऊंगे, लेकिन आपने कहा
हाँ,
कि
मैं
आप
करा
डांसिंग
दूँ।
भी करते तो वो भी कराएंगे।
मैं डांस में ही करा देती हूँ।
तो चलो शुरुआत करते हैं गाने और डांसिंग से, बिफोर वी कम ऑन टू द अदर।
देखो ये मैं नहीं थोड़ा सा इसमें ऐड
तो
किया है,
आज हम
क्योंकि बच्चों की लैंग्वेज में मैं
तबस्सुम जी, आज हम सब बच्चे बन सकते हैं आपके
हाँ जी,
साथ?
मैं यही कह रही थी, जैसा आपने अपना नाम रखा है बचपन मनाओ, तो मैं ये कहना चाहती हूँ कि मैं बहुत देर से सभी, बहुत मुझसे तो सभी काबिल हैं, और मैं तो बहुत छोटी हूँ, आपके छोटे बच्चों को भी पढ़ाती हूँ, तो सभी बहुत अच्छी अच्छी बातें कर रहे थे, क्रिएटिविटी की बातें कर रहे थे, रचनात्मक की बातें करते थे, ग्रुपिंग की बातें कर रहे थे। ये सब चीज़ें जब मैं सुन रही थी तो मैं कह रही थी ये तो मैं अपनी कक्षा में कराती हूँ, ग्रुपिंग करती हूँ मैं ग्रुपिंग ऐसे करती हूँ जैसे मेरी क्लास में जो पुराने बच्चे हैं वो सीख चुके हैं, अब नए बच्चे आ रहे हैं, वो उनका कंटेंट बीच में चल रहा है। मैं क्या करती हूँ, एक होशियार बच्चा, एक थोड़ा सा नया बच्चा, एक मिडिल बच्चा, 3 बच्चों का ग्रुप इधर बना दिया, 3 का इधर बना दिया, 3 का। अब मैं उन्हें दे देती हूँ, चलो बेटा आज मेरा टॉपिक आया सूक्ष्म विकास, तो मैंने क्या करना है, वेस्ट मेरे पास पेपर होते हैं, मैंने उसको पहले का कलर करो, 1/4 शीट, मतलब एक शीट में से 4 कर लिए, कलर करो। बच्चे ने कलर करा, अब मैंने कहा चलो सबने कलर कर लिए, तुम गोली बनाओ, गोलियां होती छोटी छोटी, फाड़ के तुम पेपर फाड़ना, तुम गोली बनाना, तुम इसकी बाती बनाना, बाती होती है ना लंबी सी बाती, बत्ती जिसे कहते हैं, जो भी कह लें। फिर एक ग्रुप होता है उसको मैं चार्ट दे देती हूँ। अब आपको क्या करना है, ये सारा कलेक्शन आपको इकट्ठा करना है, आपको इसको कोई भी शेप दे के चार्ट पे, मान लो गोल की दे दो, त्रिकोण की दे दो, आपको वो इस पर प्ले करनी, मतलब चिपकानी है गोंद से, उसको मैं गोंद और चार्ट दे देती हूँ। इससे मेरा जो सूक्ष्म विकास का है, छोटी मांसपेशियों का विकास, मैं उद्देश्य अपना माइंड में रखती हूँ कि ये एक्टिविटी कराने से मेरा ये विकास होगा, ये एक्टिविटी करा। मगर मैं बच्चों को देखो, मैं भी बच्चा थी और बहुत नटखट बच्चा थी, इतनी नटखट के शायद ही मेरा पढ़ने का मूड ही नहीं करता था, इतना पढ़ाई को और किताबों को देख के मुझे डर लगता था।
तो आप मोटर स्किल्स बच्चों के और बेटर करते हैं,
हाँ,
जैसे आपने कहा।
तो वो बच्चा वहाँ हो गया, उन्होंने सबने प्ले कर दिया, बना लिया, अब वो एक उनकी एक्टिविटी हो गई। दूसरे बच्चे ना थोड़ा बड़े जल्दी से उब जाते हैं किसी चीज़ को करके, उन्हें नया नया चाहिए होता है, हर चीज़ नया नया, क्योंकि बच्चे हैं, और कोई ये ना समझे कि कोई बच्चा स्ट्रॉन्ग वीक है, सारे बच्चों में इतनी एनर्जी होती है और दिल फूल की तरह होता है, फूल फ्लावर की बात हो रही थी, दिल फूल और एनर्जी फूल। फिर मैं अपनी पोएम एक आध बीच में पोएम भी ऐड कर देती हूँ।
अच्छा, आगे बढ़ने के पहले आप पहले हमें पोएम तो करवा दीजिए,
पोएम करा दीजिए, तो जो करना चाहे डांस वो कर सकते हैं, जो नहीं करना चाहे वो नहीं।
So let's see, कितना बचपन हम सबके अंदर उभर के आ रहा है। So are you all ready for it?
देखो हम सब बच्चे हैं, सबसे एक बात मैं ये कहती हूँ कि हमें कोई टेंशन होती है, सभी बड़े हो रहे हैं, उम्र बीत रही है, कभी हम छोटे बच्चों को देखते हैं ना खिलखिलाते हंसते हुए, तो हमारा मन क्या करता है उसके साथ टाइम स्पेंड करना, और सारी टेंशन हमारे उस बच्चे के साथ वो खत्म हो जाती है। मेरे साथ ऐसी होता है, मैं जल्दी से सोचती हूँ मैं अपने घर से बाहर निकलूँ, आंगनवाड़ी के बच्चों के पास जाऊँ, जल्दी बाहर, 9 कब बजेंगे, मैं कब, क्योंकि मैं फ्री रहती हूँ, है ना। तो मुझे सब तरह की, मैं बीमार हूँ, सारी मेरे को डॉक्टर कहता है कि ये ड्यूटी नहीं जा रही है क्या आज?
अच्छा, आप पोएम तो शुरू कराइए,
हाँ,
मेरे
तो
दूसरे
मैं बहुत बोलती हूँ, क्योंकि छोटे बच्चे बहुत बोलते हैं, मैं भी बहुत बोलती हूँ। चलो पोएम करते हैं। Hey churmura churmura churmura, hey churmura churmura churmura, my papa give me pound, my papa give me pound, to buy jalebi, मैं मोटी हूँ थोड़ा हिल नहीं पाऊंगी, to buy jalebi lounge। मैं ये चीज़ 2 बार कराती हूँ छोटे बच्चे, but I want, चुरमुरा, hey चुरमुरा चुर, ये मेरी इंग्लिश पोएम। फन वाली
कराते हैं।
एक ये बहुत सारी ऐसी हम पोएम कराते हैं। ये तो हमारी बात हो रही थी ये। अब जो हम स्टोरी कराते हैं या कोई भी चीज़ कराते हैं।
तबस्सुम जी मैं आपके पास दोबारा आऊंगी, अभी पोएम का हुआ, स्टोरी के लिए मैं आपके पास
हाँ,
दोबारा
हाँ।
आऊंगी। उसके पहले मैं एक्चुअली सुनीता जी से पूछना चाह
हाँ,
रही
हाँ।
हूँ कि अगर वो कोई
हाँ जी,
ऐसी
हाँ जी।
कहानी हमारे साथ शेयर करना चाहे, किसी बच्चे की हो, किसी परिवार की हो, जिससे आपको लगा कि हाँ मैं जो कर रही हूँ वो वाकई में बहुत ज़रूरी काम है, जैसे अभी शेयर किया तबस्सुम ने हमारे साथ, आपको लगे हाँ जो मैं इन बच्चों के फेस पर खुशी ला रही हूँ, एक मुस्कान ला रही हूँ, ऐसी कुछ कहानी आप हम सबके साथ शेयर करना चाहेंगे?
देखो, मेरा नाम सुनीता है, मैं पंचायतन से हूँ, गौतम बुद्ध नगर ग्रेटर नोएडा से हूँ और मैं आंगनवाड़ी हूँ। मेरे यहाँ बच्चे छोटे छोटे आते हैं, 3 साल से ऊपर के, रोते हुए आते हैं। बच्चे अंदर भी नहीं घुसता है क्लास में, रोता है, घर जाना है, घर जाना है। हम उसे प्यार से बोलते हैं, गोदी में बिठाते हैं, खिलौना दिखाते हैं। बच्चे अगर बच्चा का मन होता है तो बच्चा अंदर आ जाता है, नहीं गेट पर ही खड़ा रहता है। कुछ बच्चे ऐसे होते हैं गेट पर ही खड़े रहते हैं, बोलते नहीं हैं। थोड़ा थोड़ा धीरे धीरे हम बच्चों को देखते हैं, वो तो आने लगते हैं खेलने में, कभी खिलौने के कोने में, कभी ब्लॉक्स के कोने में। बच्चे बहुत इंटेलिजेंट होते हैं, आपको पता है, और हम भी करते हैं, लेकिन हम उनको प्रेशर नहीं दे सकते, पढ़ा नहीं सकते, मार नहीं सकते। बच्चा अपने मन से जो करेगा हम वही कराएंगे। और
ठीक है, बहुत बढ़िया आपने शेयर किया। कैसे आप बच्चों को, आई थिंक दैट इज ऑल्सो लर्निंग कि आप किस तरह बच्चों को जो वो करना चाहते हैं वो करने देते हैं, कुछ प्रेशर नहीं डालते। आई थिंक दैट्स वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट फॉर अस टू
प्रेशर नहीं
अंडरस्टैंड।
देते, मारते भी नहीं है कभी,
बहुत
धमकाते
जरूरी
भी
है
नहीं
कि
है।
प्रेशर नहीं डालना।
तभी तो बच्चा हमसे प्यार करेगा, हम भी बच्चे से प्यार करेंगे, तभी तो बच्चा हमसे प्यार करेगा।
बहुत बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट मैसेज दिया सुनीता जी आपने। नानो जी, आई वांट टू कम टू हियर व्हेन वी टॉक अबाउट दिस सेशन। इस सेशन का नाम है व्हाई आई डू व्हाट आई डू। इफ आई वर टू आस्क यू दैट क्वेश्चन, यू नो एग्जैक्टली why you do what you do, what would you say? आपको क्यों लगता है कि किस तरह का बचपन हमें सही मायने में बचाना चाहिए?
See, Bachpan in itself is such a sacred word. क्योंकि उसमें एक नेचुरलनेस है। मैं इंग्लिश में आपने कहा बात करने के लिए, सो आई एम टेकिंग दैट एज दी एक नेचुरलनेस है, एक उसमें बिल्कुल एक इनहेरेंट इनेट जॉय की बात होती है। बच्चा जब इस दुनिया में आता है, when child is born, basically the child is a happy child and an explorative child. He needs to know more. He has so many varied kinds of needs. So basically, that need fulfillment is first expressed in play. The child becomes explorative. The child wants to know about certain things. Maybe, you know, when they are playing parallel or they are playing in a pair group. और यहाँ तो बहुत खूबसूरत बातें हो रही हैं, आंगनवाड़ी की बातें हो रही हैं, जिसमें हम अगर एक तरीके से सोचें तो बच्चों को वो करने दिया जाता है और बहुत समय तक करने दिया जाता है। There is less of structuring. फिर बहुत ज़्यादा समय होता है कुछ ऐसी चीज़ों के लिए जिसे हम repetitively कर सकते हैं, तो वो खुशी देती हैं बच्चों को। That is a kind of, you know, passive play which the child is indulging in. So what I do, please kindly repeat the statement.
What you do, yeah.
What you do.
Why I do what I do.
What I do is basically because I feel great about it. I feel happy about it. And that is where my natural living being comes out. And I need to know more, I need to explore more, I need to be more participative, whether this is an Anganwadi, whether this is a classroom, whether this is an office, whether this is this kind of a, you know, session going on. मैं क्यों करना चाहती हूँ? उसमें मुझे एक पॉजिटिविटी मिलनी चाहिए। और वो पॉजिटिविटी अगर हम छोटे बच्चों के संदर्भ की बात कर रहे हैं और हमारे पास इस वक्त हमारे सहयोगी हैं आंगनवाड़ी से, तो वो बहुत ही पॉजिटिविटी एक बच्चों को प्ले में मिलती है। So basically,
gives you the joy, and I think the most important,
that
what
is
you
the
rightly
most
said,
important.
the kids,
that
and
should
unstructured play. We had that conversation. हमने सुबह भी बात की, जैसे तबस्सुम ने कहा, सुनीता ने कहा कि बच्चों को जो करना है वो करने दीजिए, and in a play way, in a creative way. Parul, in fact, you know, I want to ask you, we today, in today's day and age, I think as parents, most of us always measure child success by the report card. कि मार्क्स कितने आए हैं, मैथ्स में आपके मार्क्स अच्छे नहीं थे, आपकी हैंडराइटिंग अच्छी नहीं थी. But what you do is like you really work on other components like a child's confidence, their sense of safety, you know, what brings them joy and laughter. So really before a child actually लिखने या पढ़ने के पहले जो बच्चा सबसे पहले सीखता है, there are other signs. How do you look out for those signs? What are really important and what are the signs you really look out for? वो आप हमारे साथ share करिए.
So earlier, conventional schooling.
Just put it a little closer. Just put it a little bit closer.
Okay. So initially, the conventional schooling was.
आप अपना mic दे देंगे please. Sorry about that.
No worries. Conventional schooling was more of marks oriented, right? And the results were announced at the fag end of the year, right? But now the modern schooling is not like that at all. We are working on the skill development of the learners. We observe the learners throughout the year. And it's not a, we're not focusing on progress now, we are focusing on the process of learning, right? So throughout the year, we keep on observing, we interact with the learners, we record their, skills through our recordings like anecdotal records or portfolios. We just observe how they are interacting in the classrooms, how, they are working on their research skills, their thinking skills, self-management skills. So we are recording the situation in which that child is, collaborating with others, how they are interacting with others. So real life application is now crucial rather than just the marks or the grades.
Yeah, that's what actually, when you're growing up as an adult, that's what really leads to what you are today. Nanu, I want to ask you, how important is play? Agar aap hum sabko bata sake, we all know you've spoken about unstructured play. If you want to give a message to our parents, grandparents, as an educator who don't think play is learning, what would you like to tell us? Because at the end of the day, हम ये समझ के summit के ज़रिए जो सुबह से बातचीत हो रही है कि play बहुत ज़रूरी है हर बच्चे के लिए, especially जो पहले 8 साल होते हैं. आपका क्या message होगा?
Playfulness is always, I always take it as innate. It is inborn. उसके साथ हम सब पैदा होते हैं, हमें खेलना सिखाता नहीं है कोई भी, हम अपने आप से खेलने लगते हैं as we are born. See, look at this child right here.
और हम बार-बार देख के seeing what she's
yes,
doing,
what
enjoying.
she's doing, she's making choices for herself. So play gives us the liberty to make choices. We need to let the children be free first of all, and then of course the structuring, because after all हमारे को एक बहुत बड़ी पदवी मिल जाती है. We are teachers, we are parents, we are guides to children. तो उसका फायदा उठा के हमें structuring तो लानी ही पड़ती है, but the play in itself as an objective resource is inborn in every child. And we need to take it forward as parents, as guides, as caretakers, as facilitators, or maybe, any length and width of our parameters of interacting with the child. We just need to take it forward as per the child's needs if we want the child to make something out of it. So basically, the structuring part has to be more of an influence for myself as a facilitator rather than putting all kinds of rules and regulations for the child. Regulating it in the manner that will give the child a leap to go forward. That is very important. And another very important point here is that whatever the child does through play, let us not interfere to the maximum extent possible. We have to interfere at some point of time, but till the point that we needn't interfere, we should take it that way. Now the task for these relevant things that maybe a classroom may have or an Anganwadi would have, बेसिकली ये रहता है कि हमारे को अपनी स्ट्रक्चरिंग करनी ज़्यादा ज़रूरी है. और अगर हम विकसित भारत की बात कर रहे हैं और हमारा जो विकसित भारत असल में क्लासरूम है, तो उसमें एक साझेदारी चाहिए, केवल फैसिलिटेशन की नहीं, पेरेंट्स की भी.
Parents play equally important role.
They need to understand that if a teacher or a facilitator, the modern of course term and the more viable term is facilitation, basically facilitating the child for what she has within her. So basically, when it comes to facilitation, the parents have to understand that when the child
is put into a playful mode by the facilitator is not harming her.
Absolutely. In fact, आपने जैसे कहा था, we have this lovely, cute little kid
Yeah,
who's
of
playing
course,
here,
she's
and she's
making
playing
wonderful
exactly what should.
choices.
हम सब actually we have that smile on our face looking at her. मेरे सवाल मैं भूल रही हूँ क्या बोलना है because I'm only looking at her. सुनीता जी, लेकिन हम देख रहे हैं कि कैसे ये नन्ही सी लड़की खेल रही है. सुनीता जी, आराम से खेल रही है, कोई डर नहीं है. She is not fear. कुछ खिलौने हैं जैसे कलर पेंसिल्स हैं, लेकिन आजकल के ज़माने में टॉय ज़रूरी नहीं होते हैं. जब मेरे बच्चे भी बड़े हो रहे थे, आई रिमेंबर दे यूज्ड टू लव, आई यूज्ड टू गिव देम पीस, मटर छिलते थे. आई थिंक दैट्स एन एक्टिविटी मोस्ट ऑफ अस एज पेरेंट्स हैव डन, राइट? सो आप अपने स्कूल में, आंगनबाड़ी में कुछ ऐसे हमारे साथ शेयर करिए चीज़ें जो आप यूज़ करते हैं. ज़रूरी नहीं कोई खिलौना हो, लेकिन कुछ एक्टिव ह्यूमन बेस्ड एक्टिविटी हो. हमारे साथ शेयर करना चाहेंगे?
हम अपने स्कूल में जैसे पेड़ के पत्ते हैं वो यूज़ करते हैं, आइसक्रीम स्टिक हैं, उससे बच्चों को बनाने के लिए बोलते हैं तो बच्चे अपना चेहरा बनाते हैं, अपने मम्मी पापा का बनाते हैं, फूल भी बनाते हैं, और कागज़ फाड़ के हम देते हैं तो वो चिपकाते हैं कागज़. तो और कंकड़ भी यूज़ करते हैं.
जो एनवायरनमेंट में चीज़ें हैं आप उनसे बच्चों को कहते हैं खेलने के, और वो मज़े से खेलते हैं. तब उस समय आप उसमें कुछ ऐड करना चाहेंगे?
हम क्या करते हैं, जैसे भिंडी है तो हम भिंडी से फ्लावर बनाते हैं. भिंडी की जो कटिंग करती है ना ऊपर का हिस्सा, उसको हम क्या करते हैं, ड्रॉ करते हैं
पेंट में डुबो के.
हाँ जी, ड्रॉ करते हैं. बेटा 2-3 भिंडी ले आए घर से, कि वास्तविक चीज़ों से जोड़ना है हमें बच्चों को, वास्तविक चीज़ों से जो हमें अवेलेबल हो जाए, और उनके घर पे भी, क्योंकि हम ECC मनाते हैं, माताओं को भी वो करते हैं. उसके बाद हम ये अंगूठा होता है, कलर्स हैं हमारे पास, ECC की किट मिली हुई है हमें. अंगूठा एक कटोरी में हमने थोड़ा सा रंग करा, थोड़ा सा पानी मिलाया, अंगूठे से हमने ऐसे करके ड्रॉ करा, फिर उसके हल्की सी वो कर दी. हम हाथ होता है ना, हाथ छपवाते हैं, सर्कल बना के आंखें बंद करके बिंदी छपवाते हैं. ट्री बना के, अब मैंने ट्री तैयार कर रखा है बच्चों का, जितने मेरे प्री स्कूल में बच्चे आते हैं उसका ट्री में वो अपना फोटो लगाते हैं. इस तरह की इतनी सारी एक्टिविटीज हैं, और पजल्स.
और आप बच्चों को किस तरह बिजी रखते हैं? आई थिंक वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग.
माचिस होती है, माचिस.
लेकिन हम थोड़ा समय की प्रॉब्लम चल रही है. पारुल, आखिरी में क्विकली आई वांट टू आस्क यू समथिंग, कि आप कोई अगर ऐसी कुछ हमारे साथ शेयर करने, जो एक ऐसा बच्चा हो जो शाय होता था या अपने कंफर्ट जोन में नहीं होता था, एंड यू सीन अ चेंज जब वो बच्चा खेले अपने एनवायरनमेंट में, कुछ आपने शिफ्ट देखा हो, आप हमारे साथ शेयर करना चाहेंगे?
Sure, ma'am. One of my child was a special needs learner, and he was reluctant in speaking in the classroom. So we just motivated, rest of the friends also motivated him, and we used to have collaborative engagement in our classroom. So one day he literally mesmerized me. We were having an online exchange, virtual cultural exchange program with Abu Dhabi learners, and that child conversed so confidently. He was just a 5-year-old child, upper kindergarten. He inquired on his own, why do you have dust storms in, Abu Dhabi?
So वही बच्चा जो पहले बात नहीं करता था, he was exploring the world around him. Well, thank you so much for joining us. I think हमारे educators के लिए, जो हमारे बच्चों को सही मायनों में हंसना, खेलना सिखाते, can we have a round of applause for them? Because that's where we actually celebrating childhood. Childhood begins. And for this little star, can we have a round of applause for her as well, who really is the star here? Thank you so much for joining us.
मैं एक चीज़ और बताऊंगी. मेरी आंगनवाड़ी में 2 हैंडीकैप बच्चे थे, माहिरा और अलीज़ा. उन्हें 50% था, तो वो 3+ से मेरे पास आते थे. उनका ये जो आइज़ थी ये ऐसे थी. मैंने उन्हें लगातार एक्टिविटी कराई, जो एक्टिविटी हमें प्रोवाइड होती हैं, जो हमारा मिशन ग्रुप है, रॉकेट लर्निंग टाइप का, वो हमें क्या करता है. मैं थोड़ा सा बोलना चाहूँगी, प्लीज़, हमें ऐसे मौके कम मिलते हैं. तो सबसे पहले तो मैं ये बोलना चाहूँगी कि मेरी आंगनवाड़ी, यानी मेरा जो है काम, वो एक गर्भवती से हम उसका ध्यान रखते हैं. इम्यूनाइजेशन कराना, टेक होम राशन देना, क्योंकि आंगनवाड़ी, देखो सुनो, मैं इसलिए बोल रही हूँ कि बहुत सारे लोगों को शायद पता हो, नहीं पता हो कि अब क्या क्या चीज़ें आ रही हैं. तो आंगनवाड़ी एक ऐसी जगह है, ऐसा प्लेटफॉर्म है जहाँ हम गर्भवती से बच्चे का ध्यान रख रहे हैं, THR दे रहे हैं, और प्रधानमंत्री PMVY योजना पहले बच्चे पे दे रहे हैं. उसके बाद यदि दूसरा बच्चा हो रहा है, लड़की हो रही है, तो 6,000 रुपये दे रहे हैं। उसके बाद इम्यूनाइजेशन करा रहे हैं, आयरन कैल्शियम प्रोवाइड करा रहे हैं, बच्चा होने के बाद पूरा उसका टीकाकरण करा रहे हैं 10 साल तक का। उसके बाद 3 साल तक उसके THR दे रहे हैं, 3 से 6 में उसको प्री स्कूल में एडमिट कर रहे हैं। उसके बाद लखपति योजना हम उसको दे रहे हैं, जिसको लाडली योजना बोलते थे, अब लखपति योजना हो गया है, वो दे रहे हैं। वो पहले 12th तक थी, अब वो BA हो गया है। इसके बाद हम विधवा पेंशन दे रहे हैं। उसके विधवा पेंशन के बाद एक ये बहुत सारी हमारी एक्टिविटी थे, ECCE अर्ली चाइल्ड केयर एजुकेशन, जिसमें हमारी महिलाएं भी आती हैं मैडम, और SSK भी हमारे बने, जिन्हें हम जो काम जैसे एम्ब्रॉयडरी है, मेहंदी है, ये
उनको स्किल भी करते हैं,
उनको स्केल करते हो, वो लड़कियां अपना कमा भी रही हैं उस चीज़ से, कमा भी रही हैं। और इसके अलावा मैं माहिरा अलीज़ा का ये केस इसलिए बताना चाहती हूँ कि कोई भी बच्चा, लोग सोचते हैं ये कुछ नहीं कर पाएगा, हैंडीकैप है, ये वो, ऐसा कुछ नहीं होता। जो मेरा 21 साल का एक्सपीरियंस कहता है, उन बच्चों को मैंने, जो हमारे सर्वांगीण विकास हैं 5 बौद्धिक, गणित जो भी हैं, उसके अकॉर्डिंग मैंने उन्हें एक्टिविटी कराई, रोल प्ले के माध्यम से हमने उन्हें, जो हमारा रॉकेट मिशन है, WCD है, जो हमें इतना अच्छा ECC की किट दी है, पजल्स लगाना। देखो जो एरियाज़ में हम काम करते हैं वहाँ इतना वो नहीं है, वहाँ पर हम अपनी वास्तविक चीज़ों को ही इस्तेमाल करके वो सब करते हैं। उनका ये रहा कि उनको अक्षर पहचान, काउंटिंग, आज वो लड़कियाँ 8th क्लास में टॉप करती हैं।
और इसी नोट पे आपके इस काम के लिए, और जैसे हमारे देश में जो इतने आंगनबाड़ीज हैं जो काम कर रहे हैं, पहले फर्स्ट 1000 डेज पर काम कर रहे हैं, वील हैव अ राउंड ऑफ अप्लॉज। तबस्सुम, ये चर्चा बाहर जारी रखेंगे, आगे सेशंस है, सो सॉरी फॉर दैट, फॉर इंटरप्टिंग। आई नानो यू वांटेड टू क्लोज।
ECC में हमेशा केयर एजुकेशन से पहले आता है, तभी ये सब बातें,
और बहुत ज़रूरी है।
स्कूल जाने की पूर्व तैयारी हम कराते हैं, और उसके बाद हमारा उद्देश्य होता है एवरी चाइल्ड इन स्कूल एंड लर्निंग वेल, यानी हर बच्चा स्कूल जाए और अच्छे से पढ़े।
आपके जो सारे बच्चे आते होंगे वो सब, आप इतने अच्छे हैं बोलने में,
एक्चुअली मैम क्या है, हम लोग करते हैं छोटे बच्चों के साथ काम, और उसमें इतने सारे काम हैं, इतने हैं कि एक्सप्लेन के लिए हमें बहुत टाइम चाहिए। और आप सभी जानते हैं, आप लोग तो बड़ों के साथ काम, छोटे बच्चों के साथ काम करना एक बहुत, क्योंकि अगर उनके स्कूल जाने की पूर्व तैयारी हो गई मैडम, देखो मैं अक्षर पहचान कैसे कराती हूँ, मैं कहती हूँ हर अक्षर एक व्यक्ति है। मैं ड्राइंग अच्छी करती हूँ, मैं क्या करती हूँ, का को मैं एक कैरेक्टर बना देती हूँ, ला को मैं एक कैरेक्टर बना देती हूँ कि ये का है, आज का जन्मदिन मनाएंगे। देखो इस तरह से मैं टीचिंग स्केल, मैं उन्हें पढ़ाती नहीं हूँ। का एक लेटर बन गया, ला एक लेटर बन गया, लययुक्त यदि मुझे कराना है तो का ला को राजा बना दिया, एक क्राउन बना दिया मैंने, का ला कल, बोलो बच्चों का, ये चीजें
एक इनोवेटिव तरीके से बच्चों को सिखाना है। तबस्सुम जी हमारे साथ है। अनदर राउंड ऑफ अप्लॉज फॉर आवर वंडरफुल एजुकेटर्स हु आर इंश्योरिंग दैट मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंटली नो वन इज लेफ्ट बिहाइंड।
ऑफ कोर्स मैं क ख ग भूल गया हूं मैम, इसके बाद मैं आपके साथ सेशन लेने वाला हूं, और आप मुझे आई एम श्योर जिस तरीके से सिखाएंगी मुझे पक्का याद रहेगा। बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया, जोरदार तालियां फॉर आवर पैनलिस्ट, थैंक यू वेरी मच। Lovely. And now, of course, we loved our momic, right? We loved Amrita's session or her act, right? It was quite a deeply moving session, and children might forget the exact textbook lessons, but they will never forget how safe and valued these educators made them feel. Now, before we move to our final segments, let's bring back some energy into the room. Please welcome back the Made in Play Summit's resident momic, Amrita Bendre, for some fun. Give it up. Louder cheer. Lovely.
You sure you can? Yeah, now I can hear myself. Thank you. I don't know. I know you guys are hungry. I know you guys are hungry, and therefore they're pumping faltu ka energy right now. Because I know I'm hungry. I will not lie to you. I don't lie. It's not. I have lied enough when I was a child. And do you guys lie? Not just stories, just lie. Yeah, you're all lying. Are you lying to your children also? You have 2 children, so you lied twice. The problem with lying is you have to remember it. How can you do that? Uska table kahan rakha hai, koi batao. No, I was interested in, I myself, when I had a kid, I decided that I just realized lying is inconvenient. Because then, as I said, I have to remember what I lied. There are times when I punish her for something. Like one day, she picked up a whole box of Fruit Loops, finished some of them, and then because she did not want me to know that she has opened a fresh pack of Fruit Loops, she threw the entire box in the dustbin. And she thought, I will not know. So, but I found out in the dustbin, of course, housekeeping, घर पे housekeeping तो हम ही करते हैं ना, यहाँ एक कोई और आ रहा है. So I found out and then I was like, why did you do that? And I was mad. We lose our shit. We lose our cool. We lose our calm, right? Yes, I look like a cool mom, but of course I'm going to lose it once in a while. Okay, I'm a woman. So I lost it and I did not know what to do about it. I said, right now I'm not going to talk to you. I'm never going to buy Fruit Loops for you ever again. Never, ever. And I was really angry and I was going to go through with that. 2 years later, I was big basketing. 2 years later. I went on Big Basket and I was like, and what else do you want? Oh, cereal, Fruit Loops. She was the one who reminded me, didn't you say you're not going to order it anymore? Didn't you say? Like, I'm not able to remember my own honest things, angry things. Lies, though I cannot. That's one reason why I don't lie. Another reason is it's just convenient to tell the truth. Sometimes if telling the truth is difficult, if the question is too hard, I just start telling her in very difficult words. In words she might not understand, but it's the honest thing. She goes to sleep. It's the best thing. So right now I am here, we just have like 2-3 minutes, and I would like to know something about you. You know enough about me now. I want to know what was the last lie you told your child. I think this will be an interesting thing to, oh, you have a lie already? Okay, she has a lie already. Come, tell me, what did you lie to your kid?
Hi. So yes, I'm a mom to a 6-year-old, and as we're talking about play, he can be in the park forever. And yeah, I can like just after school, he just wants to come back home for just his lunch, and then he can be in the park forever. So almost every day, I am like it's not a very harmful.
He is your child.
I think he is too much. He's just protected from the world right now. So and he believes his mom through and through. So sometimes I am actually telling him that okay, the park is closed today. You know, there were snakes in the park. And really, Mama?
असली आस्तीन का सांप कौन है देख रहे हो?
Really, Mama? And then he catches me and say, Mama, story sunao, kya hua? Fir snake aaya, fir kya ho gaya? And then I have dug up my own grave. Okay, I will tell you what happened next.
Yeah, that I lied to you. Yeah. That I am the snake inside the house. Yeah, I've been told to wrap this up. We can always discuss about lies over lunch. Lunch is ready. Mostly, this whole activity, I will not lie to you. This is just because वो खाना गरम हो रहा था. Okay, guys? Yeah, lunch is served. Let's break. Okay? Bye. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. But the breaking news is, Amrita, there's no lunch yet. I loved her trick, huh? This was her trick. But now, you know, before we break for lunch, you know, we'll move on to our next BMA talk. We're looking at play through a lens that often gets overlooked, the father's perspective. And to talk about breaking out of traditional roles and navigating modern parenting and consciously choosing joy, please welcome storyteller and the CEO of Yuva, Nikhil Taneja. Give a huge round of applause. Nikhil, stage is all yours.
Thank you. I'm so sorry that I'm standing between you and lunch. That they did not tell me this. I would have ensured that I do this earlier then. I'm going to take 8 minutes of your time, but I hope that this leaves you with something that you can take away. Okay. Growing up, ABCD for me was A for apple, B for ball, C for cat, and D for Dev Saab. You see, my father had a few unhealthy obsessions in his life. He loved the combination of paneer, achar, ketchup, and bread as a post-meal snack. He was Shah Rukh Khan in Dar levels of in love with his work in trade and finance. And he cared more deeply for the evergreen Dev Anand, or Dev Saab as he'd fondly call him, than the rest of us mere mortals. My first ever memories of childhood in our Lucknow one-bedroom home Our papa calling me after dinner and asking me the same question every single night. Picture dekhe? He'd then pop in our video cassette, in our VCR, sorry, these are not Gen Z terms, and inevitably hit play on a Dev Saab classic. Along with CID, Taxi Driver, Kala Bazaar, Tere Ghar Ke Samne, Jewel Thief, Prem Pujari, and his all-time favorite Guide, which was a bit depressing to watch at 4 years of age, I would also be subjected to Dev Saab trivia as running commentary. For example, did you know that Dev Saab was banned from wearing a black coat in public because of how mad and crazy women would go on seeing how dashing he looked? ChatGPT may or may not tell you that, but my father definitely would, repeatedly. As I grew up and we moved from Lucknow to Delhi, my father started getting busier. And the only play in our lives as father and son, our movie nights, started becoming infrequent. By the time he got a foreign posting through his bank and we moved to the Middle East, his obsession with trade finance and unhealthy eating habits took precedence. His newfound work stress led to anger issues, and both Dev Saab and I had to vie for his attention constantly. Picture Dekhe went from a daily to weekly to monthly activity. When the world evolved from video cassettes, I once spent hours shopping in my teens to find Papa's favorite Devanand movies on DVD. In fact, I went to Connaught Place. There used to be a lovely big shop, an iconic shop at that time. He was thrilled to receive it, and he kept it beside his work desk, promising for us to watch it together very soon. 2 years later, I moved from home in Bahrain to college in India, but the DVD never moved from where it was once kept. If in my 20s you would have asked me what I had learned from my father, I'd have answered without any hesitation how not to be one. Someone did that recently over here. I was like, this is relatable to my life. Away from home, trying to be a man of my own, I barely spoke to Papa in my early 20s. Most of my happy childhood memories were clouded by the anger and distance I'd experienced from him, and I harbored a bitterness towards him for not having been around more. When my mother could both work at home and still give time for play, why couldn't he? I decided that whenever I would become a father, I would make sure I'd be a present one. Two events made me a little bit more empathetic. In 2018, when I founded my company, Yuva, I went across 35 cities of India on a roadshow and met over 15,000 students in 150 campuses. Everywhere I met, young Indians would speak of loving mothers and absent fathers, angry fathers, of mothers who gave time and fathers who had none. What I thought was a flaw in my own father was a systemic issue that affected almost all the children that I met. How was it that as a country we were raising distant fathers instead of loved children? I realized that after centuries of the provider-nurturer conditioning, while we have finally begun having conversations about the right of women to choose between nurturing, providing, both or none, we are finally having that conversation. Unfortunately, we have never even thought of entertaining the idea of men nurturing, of fathers having a choice, of men staying at home and caregiving. That is almost as alien an idea as Dev Saab being uncool, let's be honest. Then last year, after many years of trying, I became a father to the most ethereal baby girl in this entire universe and beyond. You can't debate that with me. I'm sorry, I will always will. My wife, who works at an international bank, got 6 months of paid maternity leave, followed by a whole year of work from home. As an entrepreneur, I looked up the paternity policies in India, in public and private companies. I found out that to her 6 months, the government mandate for leave for new fathers is 2 weeks. Only 14% of private companies had some sort of a formal policy, and most of the rest didn't give any leave at all. I used my privilege as a leader and the first male employee of my own company to become a father to give myself 3 months of paternity leave. I wanted nothing more to spend time with my baby daughter and help my wife regain her strength after childbirth. In the first 1.5 months of that break, I stayed up every night to put my baby to sleep, to feed her, to wash her, to clean her poop and pee and change diapers, to sing to her inane songs. Her name is Noor. My favorite song has been Ye Raat Aur Ye Noori. If you get it, you get it. I soothed her when she cried, but most of all, I got to know the wonder that she is more intimately. As much as my team tried to not reaching out to me during this time, within a few weeks after the congratulatory messages, work calls and emails started. I would gently explain to my business associates that I'm on paternity leave. And while I did receive kind responses, I soon learned that for most people, they interpreted paternity leave as work from home for fathers. Whenever I tried pushing back on the timeline of an opportunity, I was very politely told, we could work together later then, it's fine. I was on paternity leave, but I was being left behind because of paternity. Something I'm sure every working mother in this room and in the world around us has faced before. I started researching about the connection between paternity leave and the bonding between fathers and children. And they all pointed to the same thing, and I quote, the fathers who take longer paternity leaves develop stronger emotional bonds with their children, their partners, and also become more involved with their home. In fact, a study on the 2-week token paternity leave in Japan showed how it actually backfired. It created a social appearance of caregiving, but failed to create genuine connection because the fathers only had a few days before which they had to go back to work. I don't even think I need to quote studies to talk about the mental health burdens in postpartum on new mothers who have spent 9 months in carrying the child inside them, and now within a couple of weeks have to now solely raise them as well. By not giving equal parental leave, we have ended up creating a society so dysfunctional that unless you have privilege, almost every mother, I believe, is a single mother, and every father, I believe, has to be an absent one. Learning all this for the first time in my life, I deeply understood my father. All my life, I had held it against him for not wanting to spend time with his children. But in hindsight, I recognized that perhaps the world didn't afford him a choice. I'd already softened my feelings towards Papa in the years before through our common love language of taking him out for the movies. But after almost 38 years of knowing him, I had a short heart-to-heart chat with him about fatherhood and how I would try to be a more present son to him, and in return, he'd have to be a more present grandfather. He promised, and we postponed a larger chat for later, and he had to return to Bahrain for some work. Bahrain is where he is to stay. A couple of months after this chat, 3 months after becoming a father myself, I lost my father to an accident. Work had kept him away from me as a child. Work took him away from my daughter while she's still one. Work cannot and should not be the central identity of a father. I acknowledge that it will probably take decades to undo the provider-nurturer conditioning, but our systems can change if we work towards it. I believe that it is imperative that decision makers at the highest level of power in our country create a mandate for at least 3 months of paternity leave to new fathers to redistribute care responsibilities at home and to provide fathers with a head start and bonding and play with their child. So it wouldn't take a lifetime for fathers to understand their children and for their children to understand them. My father and I both lost our chance in getting to know each other. I'm not willing to lose that chance with my daughter, Noor. And no father, I believe, in our country should have to. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Nikhil. Thank you very much. That was really heartwarming. And now our final BM8 of the day hits a beautiful emotional note. Play isn't just physical movement. It lives in sound, rhythm, and voice. To talk about the incredible developmental power of music and why you must sing to your child, please welcome singer, composer, speaker, and writer, Vidya Shah. A huge round of applause for Vidya Shah. The stage is all yours.
हेलो, नमस्ते, गुड इवनिंग, ओह गुड आफ्टरनून। ऐसा जब बच्चे क्लास में करते हैं सब हंसते हैं ना उन पे पर ऐसा सबसे हो सकता है यार। सो इट्स लवली टू बी हियर, मतलब आई एम सडनली फीलिंग वेरी एनर्जेटिक एंड यंग आफ्टर दिस अटेंडिंग दिस मॉर्निंग सेशन। कई अच्छी अच्छी बातें सुनने को मिली और कई चीज़ें ऐसे भी लगा कि यार ये आई कुड हैव डन दिस डिफरेंटली विद माय चिल्ड्रन। So it's an interesting combination of thoughts and ideas that one has been going through since morning. मेरी ज़िंदगी का उसकी जो एक यात्रा है वो थोड़ी सी, जिसको हम कह सकते हैं स्लाइटली अनकन्वेंशनल, क्योंकि जैसे मेरे 2 बच्चे जो हैं वो कहते थे कि अम्मा व्हाई डोंट यू हैव अ नॉर्मल लाइफ, व्हाई डोंट यू गो टू ऑफिस। या फिर हम लोग जब अपने आप को क्लास में जब पेरेंट्स ओरिएंटेशन होती थी हम उसमें इंट्रोड्यूस करते थे अपने आप को, तो इफ़ आई वुड से I'm a musician and my husband is also an artist, so if he would say I'm a photographer. So it always felt like we are from some extracurricular domain, you know, who are made to sit there. But I think over the years, you know, I think the way music has contributed to our lives, the way art has contributed, a creative energy has contributed to the lives of our children, I don't think we did too badly actually. खैर आप लोगों का सबका कुछ ना कुछ एक बचपन का एसोसिएशन तो होगा ही गाने से। आपकी दादी ने कुछ गाया होगा, आपकी नानी ने कुछ गाया होगा, आपकी अम्मा ने कुछ गाया होगा, आपके पिताजी ने कुछ गाया होगा। यस, इज दैट अ यस? आई थिंक वी आर हेडिंग टुवर्ड्स लंच टाइम, इसलिए थोड़ा सा थका हुआ रिस्पॉन्स। बट कैन आई से विद कॉन्फिडेंस कि हम सब ने कोई ना कोई गाने अपने परिवार के लोगों के साथ एट सम पॉइंट गाया है, शेयर किया है। See, that's the other thing that we are going to debunk here, गाना नहीं आना। एक छोटे से गाने के साथ ही शुरू किया जाए इस सत्र को। पहले उसको मैं उसका ओरिजिनल गुजराती में गा रही हूँ, फिर उसका मैंने अपने आप ही उसका हिंदीकरण भी कर दिया है, ठीक है? सो द सॉन्ग गोज लाइक, अमी नानी नानी चकलियो चीची वातो करवानी, अमी नानी नानी चकलियो चीची वातो करवानी, अमी नानी नानी चकलियो चोखा चाचे चणवानी, अमी नानी नानी चकलियो आकाशे जय उड़वानी, अमी नानी नानी चकलियो आकाशे जय उड़वानी। हम छोटी छोटी चिड़िया हैं, हम चीची चीची करते हैं, हम छोटी छोटी चिड़िया हैं, हम चीची चीची करते हैं, हम छोटी छोटी चिड़िया हैं, हम जाके दाना चुगते हैं, हम छोटी छोटी चिड़िया है आकाश में जाके उड़ते हैं। तो स्वीट लिटिल सॉन्ग, बट द गुजराती लाइन कि हमें नानी नानी चकलियो, चकली का मतलब वैसे तो मैंने कहा चिड़िया, बट अंग्रेजी में जो है चकली इज द स्पैरो। और आप में से कुछ लोग जानते होंगे या कई लोग जानते होंगे या सब लोग जानते होंगे कि चकली जो है हैज गॉन आउट ऑफ आवर लाइव्स। इन दिल्ली द चकली इज एक्सटिंक्ट, राइट? So there you go, you get one little inroad into another conversation with नानी नानी चकलियों। अम्मा चकली क्या होती है, right? चकली एक वो नमकीन भी होता है जो खाते हैं, उसको भी चकली कहते हैं, है ना? तो खैर संगीत और बच्चों का रिश्ता तो I mean you all are incredible. I've been listening to the comments of the parents as well, some incredibly discerning ideas on parenting itself. So I don't need to tell you how much it has been established that music has so much to do with bringing up your child, with child development, or you can give it more technical terms. But the basic idea is संगीत का बच्चों के साथ एक बहुत बहुत गहरा रिश्ता है. It's a beautiful, deep, very very elastic relationship. उसमें बहुत कुछ किया जा सकता है. So one of the things that they say, if I were to look at the slightly technical side of it, कि जो the way the brain works, both the hemispheres of the brain, apparently, I'm no scientist, but I love to read up on these things, that both the hemispheres of the brain apparently relate to melody and rhythm. In ways, जब आप बच्चों के साथ ये करते हैं, it relates in ways कि जब वो थोड़े बड़े हो जाते हैं, तो उनका all ये math, problem solving, it evolves into that skill as well. That is to say that the more you introduce music to young children, to younger children, to really small children, the more they benefit in terms of thought processes, of cognition, of problem solving, so on and so forth. So now another one, एक बहुत मशहूर जो lullaby है, वो है, any guesses? सब लोग गाते हैं उसको, फिल्मों में भी आ चुका है. चंदा मामा दूर के, गाइए ना सब लोग. चंदा मामा दूर के, पोए पकाए पूर के, चंदा मामा दूर के, पोए पकाए भूर के, आप खाओ थाली में, मुन्ने को दो प्याली में, राइट? तो ये जो है, दिस इज सच अ पॉपुलर वन, बट इसका मतलब मुझे नहीं समझ में आया. चंदा मामा दूर के इज फाइन, उसकी अगली लाइन क्या है? पुए पकाए दूर के, मीठा गुड़ के. अच्छा, ऐसा वो कह रहे हैं. तो खैर ऐसा है कि उसका कोई नई मतलब भी हो तो सब हम गा सकते हैं उसको. हाँ, तो एनीवे, चंदा मामा दूर के इज अ पॉपुलर सॉन्ग जो सबके मेमोरीज में है, ये तो समझ में आ गया. पर उसमें एक एडिशनल एंगल है जो एज अ म्यूजिशियन आई कैन ब्रिंग टू दिस टेबल, कि जो हमारे जो बचपन में, मेरा तो आप लोगों का कहीं ज़्यादा पहले का बचपन है, लेकिन फिर भी हमारे बचपन में जो गाने गाए जाते थे, उसमें एक एडिशनल मेलोडी का भी अपना एक क्या कहते हैं, एक रोल था. सो फॉर एग्जाम्पल दिस सॉन्ग, इफ़ वी ट्राई टू फिगर कि भाई कौन से राग में है. मैं बिल्कुल आपसे ये नहीं कह रही हूँ कि आप घर जाके सारे गाने सुन के उनके राग निकालिए, बट आई एम जस्ट सेइंग कि इफ़ वी वांट टू थिंक कि ये कौन से राग में है, सा रे गा पा धा पा ग रे सा, सा रे गा पा धा सा धा प ग रे गा प धा प ग रे चंदा मामा दूर के, ये भी कर सकते हैं. धा प ग रे गा प धा प ग रे चंदा मामा दूर के, सरे सरे ग रे गा प गा प गा प धा धा प ग रे चंदा मा. You don't have to do any of this. I don't mean to scare you. But what I'm trying to tell you is that this song is set in what we call a pentatonic scale. Penta माने पांच, पांच सुरों के राग में इस गाने को बनाया गया है. अब उसका भी कहने का मतलब ये है कि रागों का भी कॉग्निटिव लेवल पे एक खेल चल रहा होता है, राइट? सो द पॉइंट इज, आप गा रहे हैं, आप मजे से गा रहे हैं, लेकिन आप बहुत कुछ कर रहे हैं उसके साथ, इन वेज दैट आर नॉट लाइक क्लास में बैठ के स्पेल चेक, इन वेरी इजी वेज. दिस सॉन्ग मेक्स इट पॉसिबल फॉर यू टू डू दैट. ठीक है, अब बहुत गजब की बातें हुई कहानियों पे. अभी कुछ देर पहले जो सेशन हुआ था, पैनल डिस्कशन, उसमें हाउ स्टोरीज आर सो इम्पोर्टेंट. सिमिलरली इन म्यूजिक एज वेल, वर्ड्स प्ले अ रियली लवली रोल. आप जो है जितना बच्चों को गानों के थ्रू वर्ड्स इंट्रोड्यूस करते हैं, वो उतना उनके जहन में बसता है. डॉक्टर साहब सर हिला रहे हैं, सो आई एम हैप्पी, दैट मीन्स आई एम सेइंग समथिंग राइट. तो जितना आप गानों के द्वारा वर्ड्स को इंट्रोड्यूस करते हैं, उतना वो जहन में रहता है. नाउ एज अ स्टूडेंट ऑफ म्यूजिक, लेट मी सिंग यू अ सॉन्ग विच इज थोड़ा सा क्लासिकल है. इट्स नॉट रियली अ चिल्ड्रंस सॉन्ग, बट शी कैन कम टू द स्टेज इफ शी वांट्स, देयर इज नो प्रॉब्लम, रियली, एब्सोल्युटली. बट उसमें कुछ बड़ी स्वीट सी चीज़ें कही गई हैं. Now, again, I'm just taking you back to the idea of introducing words, okay? So, one second. So I have this electronic tanpura and I thought, why not, okay? So this song is traditionally called a dadra. Okay, dadra is a kind of a semi-classical song. Okay, you can chuck all that out of your head, but I want you to listen to the words that we are introducing to the young ones in this song. फूले गुलाब जूही केसर की फूली क्यारी सुंदर खिली चमेली गेंदा फूले हजारी फूले गुलाब जूही केसर की फूली क्यारी सुंदर खिली चमेली गेंदा फूले हजारी चाहूं और मोर बोले चाहूं और मोर बोले कोयल की कूक प्यारी चाहूं और मोर बोले कोयल की कूक प्यारी पहरो सवारो भूषण ओढ़ो सुरंग साड़ी चाहूं और मोर बोले. कहने को तो ये क्लासिकल है. थैंक यू. कहने को तो ये गाना जो है इसको सेमी क्लासिकल क्लासिकल कुछ भी कह सकते हैं, लेकिन इट्स अ ग्रेट वे ऑफ इंट्रोड्यूसिंग चिल्ड्रन टू अ बुके ऑफ फ्लावर्स, है ना? एंड इन सम वेज लेट मी टेल यू, लेट्स ऑल एडमिट दिस, इट्स ऑल्सो अ रिफ्रेशर फॉर अस. अभी अच्छा जूही किसको बोलते हैं? गूगल. वी आर ऑल्सो, इट्स ऑल्सो गोइंग आउट ऑफ आर इमीडिएट vocabulary, our immediate cultural reference. हमारा भी जो है, it's becoming narrower. Our points of references are becoming narrower because of the way in which we access and consume information. So songs are a wonderful gateway into making that possible again. So many songs, Holi ko leke gaane, Diwali ko leke gaane, great way to begin a conversation again, right? So this Phule Gulab Juhi again is. Then there are many songs that are traditionally or culturally, they sort of help you touch base with a cultural identity. ठीक है? For example, होली आई रे, आज गलियन में धूम मचाई, होली आई रे. ठीक है ना? तो होली पे गाना हो गया. हाँ? या फिर खेत को लेके, कटी धान हाय रे. ये गाना आपने पता नहीं सुना है कि नहीं? इट्स अ ब्यूटीफुल बंगाली फोक सॉन्ग विच इज अबाउट कि धान काटने जा रहे हैं. धान मतलब चावल. धान काटने जा रहे हैं और उसकी खुशी मना रहे हैं. ठीक है? इसको इनफैक्ट इन बंगाली इट्स कॉल्ड द नूतन वर्ष गीत और समथिंग लाइक दैट. तो यू हैव अगेन मैनी इनरोड्स कि धान जो तुम चावल खा रहे हो उसके और भी नाम हैं. उसको ऐसे पकाया जाता है, उसको ऐसे काटा जाता है. अगेन द सॉन्ग गिव्स यू अ लवली वे टू गेट इनटू अ कॉन्वर्सेशन, राइट? देन emotional bonding. One of the most beautiful things that a lullaby does, for example, is create an emotional bonding. Now, I know, for example, this foundation has done some incredible work on collecting lullabies in various languages from across the country. So one of them we also sang, Chanda Mama is a typical lullaby that one sings. But I would also suggest that you can sing anything that is soft, anything that can make the child feel a little calm, restful, something which you like, something which the child likes. है ना? So for example, to my daughter, I used to sing, ख्वाजा मेरे ख्वाजा दिल में समा जा, शाहों का शाह तू, अली का दुलारा तू. Right? It's a soft song, it's a film song. So it can be really anything that makes a point, that touches a chord, that helps a child calm down, that helps a child, relax and hold your hand, or hold that little finger, all those things, or touch your ear, all those little things that happen in the night when they're tucked in bed, right? So the emotional bonding. Then you can also create you can also create language versions of songs that they know. So for example, let's see. I have a Tamil song, but I have to look up the words. So there's this song, right? He's a jolly good fellow. We all know that. That one, we all know that song. So there is a Tamil version of that song, okay? Huh? I've also not heard it. I'm just sort of getting used to all these songs. But so it goes like this. Karadi malai melyeri, karadi malai melyeri, karadi malai melyeri, enna partadu, enna partadu. Karadi malai melyeri, karadi malai melyeri, karadi malai melyeri, enna partadu, enna partadu. Malayin adutha pakkam, malayin adutha pakkam, malayin adutha pakkam, enna irundadu, enna irundadu, enna irundadu. This is basically a Tamil translation of The Bear on the Mountain. You know that one, right? So basically the song is saying, the bear went up the mountain, and from one side he saw you, and from the other side couldn't figure what's happening. That's all that the song is saying. But what I'm saying is that you can also create your own little, you know, जैसे एक हिंदी का बड़ा मशहूर हो गया था, I don't know if it's still doing the rounds, that one. इंसी विंसी मकड़ा ऊपर चढ़ गया, जोर से आई बारिश, मकड़ा धुल गया. That one is just a Hindi version of Incy Wincy Spider. Yeah, Incy Wincy Spider. Yeah, thank you for reminding me of the original. Yeah. And then, the one thing that I really had fun doing with my kids was making up songs. I'm sure a lot of us make up songs. But those songs are also a way, they sort of create memories, you know. So I'm just so relieved that both the children are not here, because I'm going to sing one of those made up songs and they would have killed me if they had heard me sort of perform it live. But for my son, I used to sing Laddu ke lal. He used to love mithai. So I made up this song, Laddu ke lal, cham cham ke sham. Okay, and every line would have some mithai ka naam. काजू की बर्फी हो तुम मेरे, हाँ लड्डू के लाल. So, okay. Anyway, the idea is that the best thing about singing to a child is that you can be the worst singer in the world. That's the best thing about it. You don't have to know how to sing. You don't have to be in sur. जो आपका मन करता है और मज़े से आप गा सकते हो, आप ज़रूर उसको गाएं. कई कहानियों में कहानियाँ होती हैं, कई गानों में कहानियाँ होती हैं, कई गानों में शब्द होते हैं, कई गानों में कुछ भी नहीं होता है. लेकिन जो भी है वो दिल को छूता है और बच्चे के दिल को छूता है ना? So, do we have time to make up a song? Do we? If we don't, I mean, she's the boss, so I have to ask her. Okay, quick song. Can we just collect, can you just say a few words? Let's try and see if we can. And please don't give me some complicated words like serendipitous or something like that. It has to be something simple. Huh? Kashti, huh? Sher, huh? Sunan, okay, I think that's fine. I think that's enough. Gana, किसने बोला गाना? चलो चले हम कश्ती में. अबे ये तबला वबला तो है नहीं, आपको ही कुछ. अभी मैं मैन्युफैक्चरिंग दिस राइट हियर, तो थोड़ा सा मेरा साथ आपको ही देना पड़ेगा. चलो चले हम कश्ती में, चलो चले, गाना पड़ेगा. कश्ती में, हाँ चलो चले हम कश्ती में, हाँ सुनहरे बादल, सुनहरे बादल आकाश में. यार इतनी कंजूसी मत करो. हाँ सुनहरे बादल, सुनहरे बादल आकाश में, हाँ चलो चले हम कश्ती में. दूर से आया जंगल का शेर, हाँ दूर से आया जंगल का शेर, कोई नहीं हम कश्ती में, कोई नहीं हम कश्ती में, सो बाय बाय शेर, बाय बाय शेर. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Please, a huge round of applause for her. You know, I observed a thing about lullabies. You can't stand or sit straight. Your body starts to... And I was like, what is happening to my body? You know, what just happened? But thank you very much for making us enjoy this lovely session, and that was absolutely beautiful. To wrap up our summit today, we have a very special final conversation. We talk a lot about the theory of play, but how do you actually live it in a noisy house? Our final guest is our champion of play. With a career spanning 30 years, she's made her mark across television, films, sports, presentation, and reality shows. An actor, anchor, author, and fitness enthusiast, she embodies versatility and passion. Her journey is a testament to her talent and resilience. Please welcome Mandira Bedi, and chatting with her today is my colleague Ambika. A louder round of applause. Woohoo! The stage is all yours while we also set it up for you guys. I don't know about others, but there's one person who's definitely having a lot of fun. What's her name? What's her name? Ariana, you're killing it today. You've ruled stage multiple times, more than all of us combined. She is the brand ambassador. Come, let everybody see you once more and say hi to all of us.
Yeah.
Come.
We're settling down for the next conversation.
Give it up for Ariana. Yay!
The real star.
Give her a high five.
High five.
Okay, we just. There we go. And can you also now say hi to all of us here? Say hi. There, everybody's waving at you. She's a star, okay? So she has to be moody. Please understand that. Thank you very much, and the stage is all yours.
Thank you so much, Arun.
Firstly, I have to say, I've done a lot of shows, and I've been a part of many fireside chats, conversations. This is my most favorite seating arrangement.
Yeah, the tire
I really like it. I might even just sit like this. This is nice and comfortable,
right?
Yes.
So like I saw in the beginning as well, right? You were unleashing the childhood while we were playing those games.
Yes.
So we're at it. So well, let's begin. Are you guys ready? So well, this chat will draw on Mandira's own philosophy as a parent, her parenting style, and her views on how important it is for children to go out and play. And by play, we don't mean sports. We mean good old play, rolling in the mud, building sand castles, climbing trees, staring up at the clouds, rolling a cycle tire. We're sitting on one. Well, that's with a stick. Scraping our knees, the ghar ghar and the doctor. We played Stapu, Pittu, London Statue, all of that fun stuff. So here is Mandira Bedi on Play, the magic of early childhood. She is our champion of play today here at the Play Summit. A big round of applause before we start.
Thank you. Thank you for having me here. I really, we talked yesterday about what we're going to talk about today, and I have to say, brought back many memories of my childhood, and I look back at my childhood with so much, joy and all the moments of actually going out and playing and, unstructured free play. Those are the ones that are the memories that last. Those are the ones that are the memories that come back to you.
And we have a memory for you. That's the little cute Mandira when she was a kid. Yeah.
That one?
Yes, that one. Mandira, I think, to begin with, what do you think the relationship of play is with childhood?
Gosh, back in the day, it used to be you finish your homework and you get to play. Yeah? It shouldn't be a reward. It should be something that is a part of our lives. Play should be something that should be a part of everyday life. In you know, as a parent now, and to see the parents all around me, and to see how every single, this is not how I grew up, what's going on right now. Every single child in my daughter's class has got classes post-school every day. Where's the play?
So
Where's
no
the
unstructured play.
unstructured play doesn't exist anymore. It's like you have to say, okay, you know what? You need to go out and play. So the relationship with play is so very important, because I think it teaches so much. It teaches empathy. It teaches negotiating roles. It teaches resilience. It teaches you how to problem solve. It teaches you empathy. It teaches you emotional intelligence. It teaches you so much. It teaches you connection. And sadly, there's not enough of play, the good old play like we knew anymore. My kids don't climb trees and scrape them, unless we go on a holiday and I say, listen, look at this beautiful space and go run around, go have fun.
But that's a rare one-off.
But it's a rare and it's a one-off thing. But I do know that if we can't even go out and play the way I used to go out and play, or go down, my mom used to say, okay, go down and play downstairs in the building, and I'd put on my roller skates and skate down the slope. I'd play cricket with the boys, always been made to field. But I would go out and play in the evenings. That was a part of my life. And it's not so for our kids until you sort of say, this is a time where you do nothing.
Yeah.
And then they find ways to play.
So actually no rules, not being told what to do, that do this. The minute you say do this, or a structured activity like go play a football class, it is not play.
It is not. You know what mothers do now? They make everything that's good for a resume. Or these are the skills that the children have to learn. Oh, you know, whether the child is inclined towards music or sport or not, they should play a sport, they should do some music, they should do this, they should do speech and drama. And I think very often the parent is living out their their dreams through their children.
True.
And the point is there are certain things that kids have inclinations towards, and yes, of course you must give them that direction. But having said that, they should also just have, you know, the thing that makes me the happiest is when my daughter's friends come over, and I live in upstairs, downstairs kind of house, and they love playing hide and seek. Good old hide and seek. They don't play it anymore. When they play hide and seek, and just that sound of when somebody has been caught from under the table or behind the bathroom door, the squeal of delight. That is pure joy, isn't it?
And it's so important because, Mantra, through the day, through the Play Summit, we've been actually trying to understand, and we've really understood the science of play, right? That 85% of a child's brain is being developed in the first 8 years. And you said, hide and seek. I think we've all played at some point and asked this question.
Catching, cook, lock and key, hide and seek.
Doctor, right? So how have you seen simple imaginative games, like you said you love, when your daughter and her friends play like Ghar Ghar or hide and seek or Doctor shape your children's creativity, which screens cannot? As a parent, I can say handling screens in this digital era is a huge challenge. Are you facing the same?
Absolutely. And I have to say, I have to admit that with my son, I did it slightly differently because, I don't know, he had his 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade during the pandemic, and they had to use a lot of screens.
So that's how education was at that point.
For learning. But Tara came to us at the pandemic, and I said, I'm going to do it differently. He has got an affinity to screens, which I do not particularly like. And so with Tara, I've completely controlled screens. And it's amazing. I'm sitting here in Bombay. She has no access to her iPad. She finds ways of keeping herself busy. She does stuff. She'll pull out her art stuff and start painting something. She'll go down, take a ball and play with the dog. We don't live in a building, so there's not a bunch of kids she can play with. But I'm just saying the creativity that she has and the inclination to try something new. She's always game to try something new. She'll go into the kitchen and belo some rotis. She'll do something. She'll always find something to do without a screen, because necessity is the mother of invention, isn't it?
And that's what she's learned. I think that's what, how you had kind of tutored her for, right? To see the world, I think, without screens, which a lot of children don't do today.
Yes. You're talking about Ghar Ghar, and you're talking about Doctor. Things have changed. Maybe they don't play Ghar Ghar anymore, but they play Hotel. And my daughter, when she has her friends over, there'll be a whole bunch of blankets, then they'll be taken from my linen drawer, and then there's this tent that she's got, and she's got these lights, and she puts them up, and then she invites me, and she says, you're the first guest of the hotel, and then she takes me through it's a small little room, but she'll take me through the entire thing, and there are cushions, and there's a mess all over the place, and I love it. I'm just thinking, this is okay, what what screens give you, screens engage two senses. Just, your sight and your sound. This is, creativity at its best. Screens give you a ready-made story, and you're consuming it. Over here, they're creating the story. They are creating the story that this is going to be here, this is going to be here, our first guest is going to be. They're creating stories out of nowhere.
So the creativity, the imagination.
They're understanding the adult world. They're giving you an example of what they understand the adult world to be. And they negotiate roles, and they show each other empathy. And this comes only from that kind of play.
And it's so good to
screens
hear.
can't do that for you. Screens give you something, it's
Joy for
instant
few
gratification,
minutes, yeah,
and then
instant
what
grat,
next?
yeah.
I want another hit, and then what next? I want another hit. Here they've created something, there's pride, there's joy in it, they want to share it with you, they want to, take you through it, and they want to, of course, they want validation as well. And it's just such a beautiful story. It's lovely to see. They play it differently from the way we did, but they still play it. And I insist, my son didn't do that enough.
But
I
you
guess
learned,
boys
learned
don't
from
play
there.
Ghar Ghar also.
But I also want to say, I have two boys, so boys really wouldn't play Ghar Ghar. But yeah, creativity, I mean, girls are creative.
Yes.
But I think how you dealt, and you see the difference, you see the impact yourself.
Yes, and I realized what I'd done there, and I said, it's never too late to make a change.
Yeah.
And with my son too, who's 14, going on 15, he's very, very creative, okay? So he creates programs, he's been composing music, he's a musician as well. So he does a lot of amazing stuff, but when I keep screens away from him, he'd pull out, even at the age of 14, he doesn't feel he's too old for Legos, and you know what he'll do? He'll take this, we've got like 30 sets of Lego in one sack, and he will create things. He doesn't ever take Lego and create towards the end of what the picture shows in the
So
set.
something creative,
He
what he
creates
feels
something
like.
completely. He'll make these video game controllers, or he just out of Lego. And
Something to do with screens, which obviously he's fond of. Having said that, you have to give him that as well.
no, but I'm just saying he
creativity,
will create.
Yeah,
He will create when left
something.
to his own devices, away from devices.
which is perfect as
Which
well,
is
yeah.
lovely. He's really into Star Wars, and can I tell you how many lightsabers he has made? And made by himself. He takes a torch, he takes some paper, and then he twirls the paper, and he takes a toilet roll, and then he paints it and puts silver tape. His favorite place to go to is the hardware store to buy stuff for this lightsaber.
Well, I think we need to have a round of applause as a parent saying it for another parent to make sure her children are so creative. It's good to hear. Even today, like in the panel before, a lot of kids don't play, whether it's pretend games, whether it's role play, they're not doing that.
You know,
But
I
good
heard
to hear.
something really horrific the other day. Sorry to interrupt you, but somebody had an iPad party.
iPad.
I was not, I heard about it afterwards. It was a birthday party that Tara was to go to. We couldn't do it. And then the mother said it was an iPad party. So everybody came with their iPads. And they
Played
were all
games.
played. No, they were playing on their own iPads. So why can't you do that at home? I mean, I've never heard of an iPad party.
It's a new term for me
It
as
is
well.
ridiculous.
Okay.
10 kids came, sat in the room, and played with their own iPads.
So definitely.
And then they got return gifts and went home. What's that about? I'm
So
glad Tara couldn't make it.
So that's what I was going to say. Definitely happy she couldn't make it. But as a parent, I want to ask you, obviously we see your parenting style, you picked up from where you thought you were wrong and you made that change. I mean, I wouldn't say made the change, but modified it. How important is playfulness when it comes to as a parenting style?
Again, I'm going to make some full admissions here. We parent like we have been parented, right? So my parents were very, strict. And I look back at my childhood not with any kind of resentment, please don't get me wrong, but they were strict. And so the way you've been parented is the way you parent. And when I lost my husband a few years ago, but when my husband was there, he was always the good cop. And I was always the bad cop because kids have to do well. They've got to get the right grades. This can't be what. And and I was the strict parent because my parents were strict with me. And Raj used to be this really easy, the good, and I used to feel really bad. He gets, children gravitate towards him because he's the good cop and I'm the bad cop. And over time, I've realized that I think playfulness is very, very important even with parenting. To have a playful attitude because, when Tara came to us, she came to us at the age of 4. Veer was, so a ready-made person has come into our lives. Veer is about 9, 10 years old. And I wanted the kids to get along. I'm digressing for just a minute. But I did this, I did this course called Hand in Hand Parenting, and I learned one thing. The one thing that has stayed with me is that children respond really well to playfulness. You can get anything out of them if you speak to them in a loving and playful manner. Okay, so play is very important everywhere you look, you know. So there's something called the amygdala, which is the survival center of the brain.
Yeah.
And what happens is when you're under pressure and when you have to do things, you know, with a regimen, and you know you have a parent that's really on your case all the time, you're under pressure and you're in survival mode. So your amygdala is, you know, in action. At that point, you're not receptive. You're not open to learn. Nothing penetrates. So if a child is under pressure, they absorb. I know that doctors sitting in the audience. I'm just giving a very sort of my version of it and what I understand.
Yeah, it's your perspective.
And then comes the prefront. So when a child is having fun, the child is free. The amygdala steps down, and the prefrontal cortex opens up, where the child, you know, the creative thinking ability, you know, opens up, and the child is open and receiving and ready to understand. So when a child is happy and playful and something is, you know, being taught at that time, they are more ready to receive. So for me, I've changed my parenting style, and I believe more in connection than correction, you know.
So I mean, I think I think how kids respond rather than react depends on a way how you know, talk to your children. So of course, playfulness.
Mostly I'm good cop now.
So now you're the good cop. You've learned it, but you've learned it the hard way, maybe, as in, you know, after seeing.
Listen, but parenting is a learning journey. You know,
yes, absolutely.
You don't. There's no manual that tells you exactly how to do it. You learn as you go along.
As parents, we grow. Yes, as we age, as the kids age, you're learning along. But you know, speaking about good cop, bad cop, it's again marks. You know, doing the right thing, right handwriting, what PTM, what the teacher said. Why do you believe the society really in today's day and age must really look at other factors, whether it's joy, whether it's empathy, early childhood development, which is through play, not just focusing on guess whether my kid has an A+ or academics?
Again, there's so many of I used to be that. I used to be that.
I used to be that, but change.
I used to be that. My son is not academically very oriented, but he plays 5 musical instruments. Mrs. Shah here, who is doing the, okay, she's a musician. He plays 5 musical instruments. He's gifted musically. And there I was, he needs to get grades. Why doesn't he get the grades? Oh my God, he's going to fail in this. Oh my God, and I used to get on his case. I struggled with him regarding the academics. And at the end of the day, somewhere along the way, when I decided to, you know, pivot a little and change my parenting style and understand my kids a little bit better, his grades have organically improved. That's one, but that's not the point I'm trying to make. The point I'm trying to make is that I think it's more important that, you know, that their mental health is intact, that they have a good childhood that they remember, that they can say they grew up having fun, that they you know, look back at their childhood fondly, and that they grow up happy.
Yeah.
And you know, empathy and emotional intelligence and you know, really creative problem solving cannot be learned from an app. It cannot be learned from AI. AI can replicate a lot, but it can't teach you empathy. And empathy comes from free play. Empathy comes with when you're with children and you're connected with children, you're playing with each other and you understand each other. You have a fight and you problem solve and you make up. All of this comes with real life situations.
Which is actually building a child's character. That's why they say unstructured play or bonding, whether it's with the parents, plays a critical role. But many of us here have, I think, grown up playing, whether it's Tapu, Pittu, London Statue, so many, I mean, you know, we remember playing those games. Mandira, how important do you think it is to keep these traditional games alive for our today's children? And how many of you agree it's important to keep these traditional games alive? I think before Mandira answers, could we see how many of you believe that we should be playing these games? Okay, so quite a few hands up.
Pittu. I played Pittu a lot as a child. I've taught Veeran Tara Pittu as well. What do you need? You need 7 tiles and you need a bunch of willing kids who want to run around. And I think, you know, all of these games apart from just burning off energy, they teach you, sport teaches you so much. Sport teaches you teamwork. Sport teaches you failure, and then when you fail, you try. You saw me fail till you till you succeed.
You failed in one, but you passed in the others.
There were those
But
games
we'll go back
outside.
and try.
I failed miserably in a couple of them, but I'll go back and try
We'll go
again.
back and try.
What sport teaches you is to try again. What sport teaches, one thing sport teaches you, the most important thing is losing. Losing, when children don't know how to lose. Children don't know how to lose and be okay with losing. Like even Tara, Veer and I, whenever we play a game, and this is a thing of the past, every time Tara would lose, when the three of us would play something, she would start crying, and I'd tell her, something, in life, lots of times things
will not work the way you want.
Don't go the way that we want them to, and when they don't go the way we want them to, we feel sad. We can feel sad. Nobody's saying don't feel sad. You can feel sad about it, but we're going to try again. We can always, live to fight another day.
Yeah.
So I think sport teaches you so many different things. It teaches you teamwork. It teaches you collaboration. It teaches you losing. It teaches you failure. It teaches you how to even be when you succeed.
So that's the reason I think, of course, we're playing many sports, but even the traditional sports to keep them alive, I think, again, unleashing our childhood, going back there. Mandara, you are our champion of play today here at the Play Summit. Thank you for joining us. But I want to ask you, what does that personally mean to you? And what's the message you would like to give our viewers as well, our audience here, on the importance of play?
Well, thank you firstly for calling me a champion of play. I do really enjoy playing. I just want, I think parents should know one thing, that whatever they do for their children, of course they want to do the best for their children, but you've got to sometimes step back. Sometimes you also got to give them that time to be. Our parents today, and I'm not saying my parents, but I'm saying parents today, all the parents I see around me, they want to give their children a perfectly curated childhood with, with this following this. Sometimes children just need to be. They need to know how to get bored. When you get bored, that's where creativity arises.
Yeah.
When you get bored, you find things to do. You find creative ways to keep yourself engaged.
Yeah.
So sometimes parents need to know how to step back. Sometimes parents need to let go of control. We like to be in control of things. I know when my living room would have a bunch of cushions all over the place, and it would look like, a storm has just hit
That's
it.
when the helicopter moms come in, clear it all out.
No, but sometimes it's just nice to look at that mess, because that mess means some lovely memories. There's this game called Floor is Lava, which I play with my kids all the time, with these cushions, and you're allowed to be on the cushion, not allowed to be on the floor. And if you're on the floor, you get out. So Floor is Lava. And those are all memories. Your kids are going to remember those memories. Those memories are worth more than the temporary mess. And the other thing is, children teach us so much. Children teach us so much. We don't have to come down to their level. We have to raise our vibration to match theirs, to be like them for a little while. They could be in tears, they could be sad, they could be upset about something, and 5 minutes later they could be playing. They know how to live in the moment. So children teach us how to live in the moment. I think that's so very important. So there's so much to learn as parents, and what you model and what you do. If you are the example, if you are one of those moms who's always on a device, your children will understand that to be all right. Because if you say, you know what, detox from devices for all of us, and we're going to have good old fun, then
because as parents, we're role models, like you rightly
Yes,
said, right?
and
So we need to practice if you want them to preach, that's the saying, right? So we need to do those things.
And something, we don't stop playing because we grow old. We grow old because we stop playing.
Yes.
So it's never too. I was looking at that rock wall, the climbing. I want to climb.
You want to climb that, okay?
Yes.
But lastly, Mandara, I want to ask you, we've also coined this term called playfluencer, right? Your thoughts on that word? We've heard influencer very often. What are your thoughts?
Influencer now for me is influenza. I don't like the sound of the word influencer, because anybody is an influencer. But I think playfluencer is so nice. That is a wonderful example that you can set for children, for adults, because adults should also know how to be playful, how to enjoy themselves, how to live in the moment, because we carry so much baggage with us everywhere we go and in whatever we do. So I think playfluencer is such a beautiful term. Big congratulations to you for coining it. I hope it becomes a viral term. And from now onwards, I mean, you call me a playfluencer
We need your
outside.
support for that.
I'm happy to be called a playfluencer anytime.
Great to hear that. Well, that was our champion of play, Mandira Bedi. A big round of applause for anchor, actor, and herself a fitness enthusiast. But I think the most important thing, a mother who has really changed the way things are. Well, that's the fitness enthusiast, and we see how the mother in her, and the childhood actually in her, is unleashing. Can we please have a big round, guys, for Mandira Bedi, who takes up all these challenges? Oh, wow.
Is there a bell to ring on top?
No, we'll do that with claps, probably, once you're on top. Guys,
Well,
come on, guys. A big round of applause for Mandira Bedi. Super.
Thank you, Mandira. Thank you very much. Thanks, Ambika. Lovely. Give it up for this last session. And ladies and gentlemen, with that, we've come to an end of Made in Play Summit. We hope you leave this room today awestruck by the power of play and, more importantly, by the simple fact that it is completely available to us all. But more than anything, we hope you leave here wanting to do something to bring play into the lives of children around you. We want you to leave asking that one critical question: what can we do? Right? We want you to leave asking such questions that as individuals and as institutions and as a society. The answer can be incredibly simple. You could sing a silly song at bedtime, create a small safe space in your neighborhood park, or simply change your attitude to make every kind of child feel included in play. And the good news is that you don't have to do it alone. There are so many incredible adults working all over the country to make this happen, including the brilliant enablers of play we have hosted on our platform today. We want to take a moment to acknowledge and thank every single person across India who's quietly doing this critical work. For all of us, this room and the screen behind me represent a rich list of organizations who are champions of play. You can get in touch with them, volunteer your time, donate, or join their activities. But most importantly, the next time a child taps you on the shoulder and asks you to play, we do hope you will say yes, and we hope you will celebrate and support every educator. And whether in an Anganwadi or a preschool who works very hard to bring play and learning into the lives of our children every day. This was the Made in Play Summit. Thank you all for your incredible energy today. Give a huge round of applause for yourselves as well. I have two tiny announcements before I leave. On my left, there are lovely photographs which we would want you to check. They represent childhood, so we would want you to give that wall a visit. And the most important second announcement is that lunch is on my right side, so please don't leave without having lunch. Thank you very much. We've had enough food for thought, but now it's time to have the dal makhni and kadai paneer. Thank you very much. This is me, Arun Singh, signing off. Have a good evening. Thank you.